melaju, mereka makin jatuh di dasar klasmen. Tapi itu awal, bukan vonis ajal. Line up baru dijajal. Dukungan terus mengawal. Dari yang minus tertinggal, kini justru Evos berkesempatan melaju ke internasional. Namun, mereka adalah pejuang, penantang. Setiap halangan mereka terjang. Karena mereka tidak mau cerita yang terus berulang. Mereka mau sejarah yang terus berkembang. Namun, sehebat apapun mereka bangkit, lawannya adalah Raja Langit yang siap memberikan tantangan tersulit. Kali juara dan gelora untuk menang terus membara. Karena gelar Raja Galaksi harus terus mereka bawa dan pelihara. Mendapat tiket MSC 2024 bukan tanda pertarungan usai. Justru pertarungan baru dimulai. Karena ada tahta yang harus mereka capai. Karena ada kata juara yang harus mereka gapai. Dan inilah kedua tim yang akan ada di Grand Final. Mereka akan bermain tanpa sesal. Berjuang untuk dapat yang setimpal. Untuk menjadi sang Raja Galaksi.
Tujuh tim telah gugur dan mimpian mereka untuk menjatuhkan Raja Langit harus terkubur. Kini tersisa sang People Champion, Evos-Grand, yang siap menantang sang Raja, siap menjadi pemenang untuk merebut tahta. Triple Champion tanda sang Raja Langit telah 3 musim beruntun menang. Tapi mereka tidak bisa tenang karena sang People Champion kini hadir sebagai penantang. Akankah setelah mereka tergoncang atau justru mereka membuktikan kualitas sebagai bintang? Mari kita sambut penantang Oni! Jika sang Raja Langit mantap jalannya mulus, maka sang People Champion membuka review. Namun mereka tidak berjuang sendirian. Dukungan para fans diemban, kepercayaan menjadi dorongan dan keajaiban membawa mereka ke puncak kejayaan, ke panggung Grand Final. Inilah mereka, Evos-Grand! Sang rookie yang membuktikan diri bahwa dirinya bukan hanya pengisi. Setelah amunisi sang Raja Langit, kini berhadapan dengan King of EXP Laner yang suka bermain api. Ini dia, para EXP Laner yang akan bertarung. Lutfi dan Fluffy. Musim beruntun menjadi jungler terbaik dan menjadi kunci sang Raja Langit yang tak pernah jatuh. Namun kini lawannya adalah sang Rising Heroes yang membuat penerjun Kodik kini bisa tersentuh. Mari kita simak pertarungan sang para jungler, Harry dan Nambel. Jika bicara mekanik, dia yang terbaik. Bermain mid, dia juga yang terbaik. Karena memang dia masih jadi mid laner terbaik. Dan lawannya malah terbalik. Dari hanya camat, kini dirinya datang sebagai penyelamat. Dan dirinya juga bisa menjadi langkah skakmat. Untuk sang Raja Langit, kita sambut para mid laner. Sat dan Cloud. Player dengan kemampuan shot calling. Dirinya banyak dibanding tapi selalu membuktikan bahwa tidak ada yang sebanding. Lawannya adalah seorang yang disebut Mr. Bombastis, yang kini telah bertransformasi menjadi Mr. Fantastis. Ini dia para veteran di tim masing-masing, The Good Leader, Dewi dan Bro. Menjadi kawan di kancah nasional dan menjadi lawan di panggung Grand Final. Ini dia sang juara bertahan FVB MSC 2023. Melawan sang pembuat momentum, pengundang decak kagum. Dan mari kita sambut romer-romer kelas dunia, K-Boy Henry. Dan ini dia para perancang kemenangan. Mau seberapa jauh meta berkembang, dirinya selalu bisa membuat sang Raja Langit menang. Dan lawannya, sang pendatang yang racikan keajaiban yang mengantarkan Evos Glory ke Grand Final. Mari kita sambut para headscon, konsep dan strategi.
Yang pertama ya terima kasih lah buat teman-teman gua yang main maupun yang nggak main. Itu gua bangga banget lah sama mereka lah, bisa sampai ini dari awal hashtag 9 terus bisa perlahan-lahan merangkak naik, terus rezeki sampai grand final, terus itu dia menjadi motivasi kita lah buat bisa juara. Anavel ya jangan star syndrome, tetap tenang, relax setiap matchnya. Terus buat Cloud, gue bangga banget sama Cloud, gue salut dari dulu dia di MDL jadi cadangan, di MPL jadi cadangan, terus sekarang dia dikasih main, terus bisa membuktikan, itu gue bangga banget sama dia. Ya gue pasti terima kasih banget lah buat Evos fans, terutama yang datang ke venue tiap hari mendukung kita, teriak-teriak walaupun kita dalam posisi menang maupun posisi kalah, tetap lanjut teriak terus. Buat Mak Evos juga selalu datang tiap match, ada dukung kita pas kita di atas maupun di bawah.
Persaingan di season 13 ini sangat-sangat keras, yang dimana sangat berbeda lah dari season-season kemarin. Dari season-season sebelumnya banyak tim yang terlambat improve, terlambat beradaptasi. Cuman untuk season 13, wah keren banget lah. Terus kayak itu kita benar-benar sadar sih, banyak hal lah yang bikin kita kayak termotivasi lagi, lebih konsisten. Kayak wah ini kita belum juara, emang udah puas gitu. Jadi gua juga gak mau kalah lah pastinya.
The chosen one's Evos glory bask in the light after obliterating darkness for their final encounter. Looming over them from up above are the Sky Kings after what feels like decades of reign. The Sky Kings now find themselves challenged by mere mortals, an impossible feat. But these mortals have slain dragons, artificial intelligence, and kingslayers to get here. And make no mistake, they will not stop until the kings of the skies themselves go down with them. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the grand finals of MPLID Season 13. The moment that we have all been waiting for has led to this point, and we are honored to be on the desk with you. I'm alongside Mirko. We have Arashi. We have our best talents all the way from the Philippines, Mr. Reptar, as well as the pioneer of Onyx success, the architect. Please welcome Coach Aldo. How are we doing, Coach Aldo?
Also, the best PH English talent.
Yeah, thank you.
It's an honor, it's an honor.
Yeah, and same here. Same sentiments for Coach Aldo to be part of your opening, to be part of this historic moment for Indonesia. It just feels amazing. Thank you.
We're super honored for you guys to be here. But before we get a chit chat with Mirko and Arashi here in the middle, we do want to thank our sponsors. MPLID Season 13 is powered by Moonton, our official government partner PBESI. Presented to you by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy, our official e-wallet GoPay, our official destination gaming and esport Kadia, our official gold partner UBS Gold. We also want to thank our partners in esports, Campina, Dunia Games, GamesMax, Oraimo, Telkomsel, our suppliers Innomart, Point Coffee, NeoQLED, Supersmart TV Plus, Saturdays, and of course, thank you so much to our government partner, venue partner, Jack Pro, for making all of this happen up until the very end. The grand finals here right in front of you.
It's been great. It's been phenomenal. I mean, the season has been so competitive at the start and so entertaining towards the end. And even in the playoffs, it still has managed to break our expectations. I think yesterday, that was the climax. We reached a point where everyone was just impressed with the games, the quality, and especially, my goodness, the fans in the building, man.
We saw them yelling out so loud that even in the middle of the game, we were struggling to hear the game. We were struggling to hear each other as well. Showing again the passion of both these teams. And today even bigger teams have to try and get their guys ahead in the morale game.
Definitely. It's now Onyx.
Yeah.
Fnatic Onyx versus Evos-Glory, our three-peat champions. And funnily enough, someone on the desk was actually with them through their success. So we're gonna have a little bit of a chit-chat over there. Coach,
Yes.
what do you think has led to Fnatic Onyx success up until this point?
It's for sure, it's consistency. Number one, they are so disciplined, they're so systematic, and that's why they're on their way to quadruple for this season.
Quadruple. We do want to welcome Kamanpora. Thank you so much for coming to the event. Thank you so much for supporting this event as well. I'm pretty glad that they get to witness MPLID Season 13 with all the fans, you know, just the atmosphere, especially coming into the grand finals. And ladies and gentlemen, there was a lot of interesting things happening in the playoffs, and I think it was especially apparent yesterday. You were actually there on desk. Blue and red side win rate in each region, and you had a little bit of a sneak peek into what was going on in our region.
Yeah, it's a similar theme as MPL Philippines, where there's just a couple of power picks that a lot of teams, when they're going up against it, when you're up on the blue side, you really want to chase after, and that affects the stories of a lot of drafts. Really love looking at the graphic. It seems like MPL Cambodia is an outlier. We might delve into that once we get into MC, but here in MPL PH versus MPL ID, seeing the blue side, red side, it seems like even though red side will always have that power of flexibility, that question of which pick will go into which lane, which role, and then that surprise last pick, it seems like it's diminished. Teams are more ready now to adjust to whatever teams on the red side will draft.
So that's actually funny, because up until this point, I think last season it was always red side victory for Onyx. What do you think about this, Coach?
I think because in this meta, if you're red side, you're forced to ban one hero, and that's Harith. And that closes so many things that you want to ban. Like, if you want to respect ban the enemy, you automatically need to choose blue side. And then the power pick in blue side that has such a lot of more potential.
I think that's really a fair point, especially with the teams who have found like very specific, very unique picks. Like for instance, we saw for Geek Fam, the Masha come out of nowhere. Not a lot of teams really play this hero, and that's a problem when you have to ban the Harith. Like you said, Coach Aldo, you have to add several more heroes, and that is where some picks are forced to be let go, and they can find a great advantage there. But at this point in the Grand Finals, I think it's going to be too idealistic to expect to be able to get opportunities like that. So let's see what we're going to see in game number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the drafting phase presented to you by the official tournament smartphone. Just to remind you, in the Grand Finals, we are at a best of 7. And we do get to see these picks unfold. So despite everything, we do see that Evos have the blue side here, Reptar.
Yeah. And they're immediately going after what could be one of the pickups that I'm surprised that Evos would be respecting, which is Kadita, a pick that we don't see much in MPLPH, but in the hands of most likely Keyboy as the roamer, it's something that they're just respecting, which goes to show that Evos doesn't want to get surprised. They don't want to get bursted and picked off in the early game.
So I think Onyx is the second pick, right? So that means that they don't have any respect hero for Evos, so that they choose second pick so that they can use their flexibility in the drafts.
Okay, so flexibility is going to be the key, and we do see that Evos pick up this Valentina. Where is this heading? Are they trying to deny a pick, perhaps? Are they trying to deny a Theramis pick from popping up?
Maybe preemptively preparing for a Theramis, but also for a lot of the big ultimates that sometimes Onyx can use to their advantage. But showing it so early allows for Onyx to really find solutions to try and mitigate that in the strategies or also in the hero selection. They've really banned the Chip and the Moscow, so they're really respecting this global presence. It really seems like Evos can maneuver as they want to. When they can't be forced into weird situations, they do get ahead. But now we take a look at the Farsa and the Claude here. Interesting strategy coming in from Onyx.
Early on, immediately going after that burst, and I think Fnatic Onyx read into Evos' desire to want to control the early middle rotations a little bit more. Valentina, if they paired up with a good roamer, can clear minion waves fast and at the same time push out pokes. The Farsa sort of is Fnatic Onyx telling Evos, we see what you're trying to do here, we want to be able to match that.
Yes, I think the Farsha pick, it means that Onyx want the mid control.
Yes.
Because the Farsha is a very strong laner, and it will be big pair up with a roamer. And let's see what... Oh, okay.
Terizla
Roger.
and Roger.
They are playing for the early game and objective setup for the first turtle. They are looking for it.
Okay, so before we headed into this, I was like, you know, Coach Aldo, what's your specialty? And he's like, drafts. Okay, so I want to know your prediction for the last pick from Fnatic Onyx. These were previously your players.
Yes, if they want to open up Kyrie's hero, I think it's Fred. It's not a bad pick here. But if they want to keep...
Got it, coach. Wow.
Nice.
Got it.
On cue. He knows his players, man. You know, Kyrie, he was actually the guy who brought Kyrie here technically, right? You requested for that, coach. I remember that story. Yeah, he knows his players best.
Because I thought maybe they want to keep, like, maybe they want to pick up the Julian or something. They need to put it at last pick. But if they just want to open, but maybe this Fred is still also a flex pick, right? To be honest, it can be on look to, so we still don't know what's next.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Nice prediction. We do see that the Alpha gets respected away from Anival.
For sure.
As we do take a look at the MPL ID data, we actually had a look at this yesterday. Harith, Luo Yi, and Moskov have maintained 100% pick and ban rate throughout the MPL ID Season 13 playoffs. So it's no longer just in the Philippines, but we have implemented this for ourselves as well.
Yeah, it's the pick that you really got to respect if you're a Red Side, as Coach Aldo put up. The Harith is still a menace despite those few little changes. And of course, Moskov and Lo Yi, because, hey, if you don't want to handle some insane macro gameplays, then you're going to want to take those out. Evos, I think they might consider taking out another EXP laner if they really want to minimize the impact here of Lutfi. That's why that Evos went into the second phase, already picking up the Terizla. A nice safe pick for them, can clear minion waves, can hold really well, and at the same time be a menace for the early objectives, as Coach Aldo put it. So if they just want to continue building that advantage for Fluffy, which they love to do, an EXP ban might be warranted, and they go for an Arlott. But if I'm not mistaken, for Fnatic Onyx, Arlott is more of a Kid Boy pick.
Yes, and also it's also a combo for Fred and Arlott. It's very annoying in the early game, especially when they hit when the Fred hit level 4 and then it combos in Arlott, the Arlott become a kill machine. And I think I'm liking Paquito pick for Ludwig here because he can control the lane, he can also deal damage, and yeah, it's a good pick for Ludwig.
And interestingly enough, that is one of his highest picked heroes. And if we take a look at the stats, he has a 87.5% win rate. Whew. So will we see it pop up? And there you go. Wow. Coach Aldo.
Let's go, Coach.
Woo!
Let's go.
On a streak here.
Don't worry, we got 7 games of this, right? We're gonna have a lot of predictions from Aldo. Probably we're gonna get a lot of those correct predictions too. And for Evos, I think for me personally, right, I love the Valentina as a first pick for Evos-Glory because they've always been able to capitalize on the flexibility of the Valentina when they give it to Clocken, not only in the game, but in the way that they draft it. Usually on the Valentina, you want to go for a front-to-back composition. You have so much peel, so much cover, but that doesn't shut down the possibility of you to go for dive. So right as they saw 2 scaling picks, technically for the side of Fnatic Onyx, the Quad and the Farsa, and very, very vulnerable picks. That they need to dive, they can go straight in! With the Roger, the Terizla, and now they double down. This is the pick that won them the game yesterday, and it was also with the Valentina, the Lancelot combo.
That's just a very menacing presence in the jungle here coming from Evos, combined with all the AoE, the Minion Fury, the penalty zone for Fluffy, and from Dreams as well. For Fnatic Onyx, mobility has to be key here, or they have to try and find some ways to really match the crowd control, because otherwise they'll be forced to back away, and we all know that Evos, when they're moving forward, they like to barrel straight through their opponents and get advantages that way.
Yeah. They're gonna need someone to catch the Lancelot, I think.
I think on my mind, there's only 2 heroes for Kibo here. It's either Edith or Cho.
Yeah.
Because other roamer get affected by Valentina ult, right? Yeah, so I think it's either... Oh, it's Ruby. That too. Can work.
Yeah, it's not the hard catch, but if the Ruby and Fredrin time things together, they might be able to catch out the Lancelot. But it's easier said than done.
Yes, yes. But yeah, Kibo is very well known for his Ruby, and especially against the Lancelot, he knows very well how to counter the Lancelot. He knows how to time the ult and the second skill. I think it's gonna be a fun match to watch.
This is actually a very interesting pick. I understand the notion of it, but I don't think we've seen Ruby for Keyboy very often, especially in the regular season. So even up until this point, we do see the picks, the strategies coming in from Fnatic Onyx, and we are here for it. The People's Champion Challenge. What is supposed to be the 3-peats. They want to seize the throne, they want to challenge the throne, and they want to win this for the people. Game number 1 between Fnatic Onyx and Evos-Glory in the grand finals. Let's get into the land of dawn.
The people that you can hear right now, the chant's already beginning, and it'll only get louder. We're only in game number 1, and the fans are already going crazy. Fun fact, Annabelle, last time on the Lance, amazing golden. It was also up against a Fredrin, that was great.
We're seeing now that the invasions is just no longer that value of a situation, of a strategy to be employed. So even with the Fredrin, this means that Annabelle will have relatively a good time, unless Sans here goes on first blood.
Wow, that's super early. I mean, Coach Aldo mentioned aggression in the early game, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Under 1 minute, already some kills over. And that is Gila Sans on the Farsa, but it might be turned around.
Go for it. 1 shot, and he equalizes the scoreboard. The Valentina.
Out of nowhere, both of the mid laners is going at it as CW.
Annabelle with the assassination attempt. Doesn't get the last puncture down. A bit too risky. Doesn't know where Keyboy is. Keyboy just trying to march forward. Harry walking up with the red tree as well. Doesn't seem like he was able... Well, he was actually able to take it, but it's just the gold.
Looking at the emblems here, Annabelle and Kyrie both prioritizing the clear speed, trying to make sure that they do have that advantage coming through, especially when they want to get that level lead to try and contest for the neutral objectives better. And with the Minotaur and the Terizla in the picture, it feels like Onyx will most likely go for some kind of pick-off before everyone groups around together. But in order to do so, they have to put Ludpi in a good position, and he's already being pressured by Fluffy and Clocken, so Onyx might be on the back foot.
Evos-Glory, they've always been so strong because of their mid-trio prio. Dreams gets caught here. gets a little bit of low, but he will get to that level 4 by clearing in that lane. Meanwhile, Keyboy already opening up vision for his team to start and posture for this neutral objective take.
That's what I keep Annabelle wins it out. Ministry and the flicker combo, and the Razor's Wrath though takes his life away. Now, they look people to knock out strike, but Annabelle is forcing that flicker away. Fluffy follows through the flicker, picks up a double with that hammer. Glockhood, just a few of those little bumps of damage onto Keyboy, but he survives.
A 1-for-2 trade in favor of Evos-Glory. Break us through that, what happened?
Seems like for Evos, they were just waiting around, and Fnatic Onyx are the ones who felt like we have to make the first move, we have to go and rush this turtle before Evos can actually respawn and get closer. But they were just a bit too late. They came in, and Annabelle showing again that this retribution is nothing to be trifled with, as we take a look at the talent prediction here by the Samsung Galaxy S24 series.
Minority. Arashi is the minority here.
Everybody wants the heroes to win, I guess. Wow.
It's a good story. I mean, looking at them the entire time, I don't think anyone predicted them to make it to the grand finals. The story was always Onyx and maybe Bigatron Alpha. But Bigatron Alpha's not here.
Yeah, I know they're not here, man.
I'm sorry.
Feels bad to be Mirko, but you know, it happens to the best of us. I mean, all three of us on the desk today have our teams knocked out already, funnily enough. So it's all just Goni that's just really confident in his team, and it seems like for the most part, a lot of the talents want to try and prove him wrong. But looking at the situation with a 1K gold lead almost, Evos are actually having a lot more success here in the early game. And it looks like for Onyx, they have to wait a bit longer for Lutpi at least to get online, unless Annabelle has a plan picked up for him.
It looks like they are reaching towards the top side. Lutpi gonna be able to see that out. But in this early stage of the game, after so much brawls, what are we expecting? Are you expecting Evos to push in the tempo because of that early game aggressive comp?
I think we're definitely expecting some kind of aggression, especially with Sans clearing the wave so fast and trying to roam around and impact those side lanes. But now, whenever there's a neutral objective, you can see Evos are immediately in position. And the fact that Fluffy can be so tanky, so difficult to pick off without some more items in the inventory slots of Fnatic Onyx. He can just stand there, but look at this.
Lutpi trying to survive now, goes in, knockout strike. Flickers out, but right into Fluffy, penalty zone. Picks up a kill, he's on a killing spree. He goes on to Keyboy with those hammers. For the airstrike onto Annabelle, but he uses the puncture to get through. Kyrie takes the second turtle rather. Goes in for the taunt, knocks Fluffy up. No penalty zone to play with Dreams. Knocks Keyboy up, don't run Wolf King. No, gonna follow it up and still be able to find one. That's two also. Kyrie gonna be caught in the damage. They're still gonna dash out. Now CW waiting to do it, but Sans in the back cannot save Kyrie from being slain by Clockman. And Annabelle chasing them from a different angle. Evos-Glory with a winning team fight.
That was a 3-4-0 trade, ladies and gentlemen. The White Tigers, the People's Champions, they're putting up a fight here in minute number 5. But the objective given over to Kyrie there. It looks like Evos hold complete control. And Fnatic Onyx, despite the attempts to try and slow down that snowball from happening, it's not working out for them.
I mean, they were able to get the initial objective before Evos can respond, but now Keyboy might be caught. That's a fancy execution.
Annabelle will not be able to slay Keyboy. Pops that conceal just in time and gets out.
As I was saying, there are moments of success here for Fnatic Onyx, and they were still able to get the neutral objective. The problem is afterwards, Evos immediately hunt them down and try and get a big team fight. And because they have multiple ways to really start that off, they are happy to just blow one or two ultimates to try and catch at least one or two members and then try and follow up that way. And even if they don't really immediately get the payoff from that play, Annabelle can still go and do what Assassins do best and seal the deal. As Kyrie gets surrounded by 3.
And Annabelle wins the red tree. Kyrie has to put the airstrike there to help him back away, but Kyrie will be able to go for the taunt onto the tree. He's forcing him in his fury, but he catches 3 with a flicker. Fluffy with a mega kill. Now that's a Lycan pounce from Brand chasing Keyboy, who's able to escape, but not for long. That's Fluffy again with a penalty zone. Knockout strike to knock Annabelle up. Sans in the back as well, trying to run away. Flickers out to safety, but still gets hit a little bit. Fluffy trying to run away. Brands should be able to come and help him, but Lutpi will not be able to take Fluffy down.
What a team fight. What a team fight in game number 1. The White Tigers, they played that perfectly. The backup was there. You can feel the synergy. And that's actually going to give over another neutral objective in favor of Evos. With this happening and unraveling like this. A 2.4k gold lead now in the 7th minute of the game, with Brands already picking up 2 more items. What are the keys for Fnatic Onyx to turn this back into their shoes? Wait a second.
Annabelle in a 1v1. It seems CW got the better of him.
For Fnatic Onyx, they just gotta stop being dove on like this, and they have to try and work together. The fact that they have a Ruby that can really stop a lot of these aggressive maneuvers from Evos, but Keyboy is always on the back foot, always lost, trying to deal with multiple threats coming from multiple angles. If they can isolate the angle of approach for Evos, they can try and get big combos, and now they're going for Clockun.
Takes every shot.
And he gets out unscathed. And you can see even the choice of items there for Clockun going in for more respect towards the damage, right? Something similar to what we see from Suns.
The Blood Wings definitely gives him a lot more survivability when he's making all these aggressive moves, weaving in and out of fights. And despite all the plans coming in from the gods, Fnatic Onyx, Evos are just letting nothing go in their favor, always getting the better traits for now. The longer the game goes though, the Farsa with the Claude, there's a chance that the late game team fights might favor Fnatic Onyx, but they still have to try and contend with the dives, with the crowd control tools that can land on multiple people. And they only have Purify on CW. Sans went for the flicker because he is Gila-san.
It's crazy. He's Gila. Lutpi, though, 0-2 on his signature pick, and it seems Evo's Glory, they know what they're doing. They want to shut Lutpi's confidence down from the start. Dreams tanks up the shot. Lutpi with a knockout strike, able to survive with the skill 1 shielding as well. Keyboy rotates back up. Has the flicker, doesn't decide to go for it, not just yet, but well played by Lutpi.
What's the plan here for Fnatic Onyx? Are they trying to just weather the storm? They didn't even go for a pick there. Is it because they can't yet?
I think they don't want to really waste a lot of ultimates right before the Lord is up. It was only a few seconds away earlier, and now they have control because they do have a bit more momentum due to the failed dive on the top side. But Evo is always close by. But Annabelle, knowing that there's going to be some time, knowing that there's not a lot of big DPS tools in the hands of Fnatic Onyx just yet, he's just going around farming, knowing that he can reach that Lord engagement in time. So he's getting the better out of Fnatic Onyx. They have to have Kyrie somewhere in the area because he's one of the frontliners for the team.
Annabelle, our rising star, 2 levels ahead of Kyrie, one of the most highlighted junglers in the world. And this is coming from a rookie in his debut season. And he already has a little bit more to say when it comes down to the neutral objective takes because of that EXP lead. Sitting at 0-0-5 right now. Kyrie, though, gonna be posturing up for the next neutral objective. But both teams are still on the setup. They don't go for it just yet.
Just like that, though, the bottom turret will fall, and even some HP taken from the top side turret. Onyx, they know that Evos are looking desperately for this big team fight, so they're trying to pull them apart using that macro gameplay. And they're actually getting the better out of Evos, and the gold lead is shrinking ever so slightly in their favor. And they're still holding on to it. That's the benefit of having a fighter jungler with sustain. You can kind of stick on the Lord, take some damage, and stick around. Whereas for Evos now, they've sent Fluffy and Brands away. Even though they do have the advantage when it comes to burst damage, when they don't know where Fnatic Onyx are gonna be, it's a whole different story, a whole different difficulty level.
The mind games happening in Sans knows where they are right now. And they're looking for that proper pick as they want to set up for this Lord.
CW is farming so well right now, constantly in the side lanes. He's actually caught up to Brands, who has 1 kill, 2 assists. How are the items looking like right now?
Well, Lucky getting a lot more tankers, and Kyrie with the Athena is going to be a bit more bold, but look at this Keyboy. It's the main target in front.
Good taunt by Kyrie to cancel any sort of engage. Clockun, early winter truncheon. In the 11th minute, CW to be poked out by Clockun. So much damage. Anonymous with ultimate is Fury. Retribution. Annabelle picks it up. Keyboy with a going on Wolfie as the appraisers tries to able to connect, but now Lutpi tries his best to go in the back. What? Fluffy with a monster kill as he chases Keyboy down. And Fnatic Onyx are forced back.
A Lord slain and a man down. This is exactly what Fnatic Onyx don't want for themselves. And look at this with CW. Wait a second, Fluffy. Gonna be pressuring in. CW was completely taken out of that neutral objective, that entire Lord dance, because of the fact that Clockun was able to catch him so low, and the setup from Fnatic Onyx felt scattered.
It's because of Evos knowing how Fnatic Onyx wants to take the fight. So they send like Clockun and the rest to try and go for some zoning plays, but Clockun now taking a lot of damage because CW is at the 3-item power spike. He can no longer stand in the front there, but only when CW is around. So if Evos send Clockun to zone him away, then Fluffy has free reign to do what he did in the previous fight. Keep moving forward and allow Dreams on the Minotaur to just set up for the mutual objectives, but penalty zone!
On to 3, Keyboy still in the midst of it all, now caught in the knock-up and the flicker as well, CW! Forced to return to the battle mirror image, he placed down in the back, Appraiser's Wrath not connecting for Kyrie. As Clockun just plays it safely, it's Keyboy traded for Fluffy.
But you can see before that teamfight, Brands, he was able to dish out the damage, and before that all ensued, he was able to pick up a GDS.
So they're gonna give up on mobility, but now counter-engage from Onyx!
The knock-up into the feathered airstrike. Perfectly played by Fnatic Onyx. And Sans claims the kill on the assassin.
And if you notice, by the way, Fluffy there actually gave over a shutdown on the EXP. That's usually the front line, the sacrificial lamb almost. He was 7-0 on the Teresa because he was just so tanky and there are no solutions. And with that, he knows that Sans for the most part will not be spending that feather airstrike on him. So he's going for a full-on physical defense build. And now Onyx jump on the opportunity.
The feather airstrike to zone them away. Fluffy is isolated from the team and it takes a lot of damage. Appraiser's Wrath just tickles him though. Harry will be able to steal away this purple buff while also pushing in the bottom lane. Wow, the gold lead slowly but surely disappearing.
Fnatic Onyx, they're playing this with their brains, they're playing this intelligently, they're playing the map, and they're playing the White Tigers, who initially had that early game lead. CW now in the 14th minute. How are we so far on his items?
It's actually quite far along.
Oh, that damage.
He definitely has all that shred damage available, but there's no setup for him. Maybe Lutpi, he's going for a tankier build, going with the Hunter Strike, and then straight into a Dominance Ice, a Oracle, as well as a Blade Armor. So he's functioning as a utility tool here to allow for some space, perhaps, for CW to be doing that damage. Now, Kyrie.
Well, he has the immortality, he just bought it earlier. Lutpi's trying to just peel for Sans. Keyboy in the midst of it all, going to be caught in that damage, and Brad with the light can pounce, now a stun down, but he has to purify. And in case of Sans, who flickers out with CW. Comes to the blade. No flicker committed by Dreams, only a Minute's Fury that knocks 2 up. But peeking the shields, Kyrie finds an Appraiser's Wrath, the knockout strike catches them, and Kyrie gets a 3-man taunt again for CW to free hit, and Fluffy is still somehow able to keep his immortality from being popped. But Evos-Glory, they get the turret in the mid lane too.
All the wins for the White Tigers in that exchange. And that gold lead has slowly started to lift once again. Clockun in a 1v1.
Winter crunching the timing. Sans!
Yeah, Sans. First team mid laner for how many seasons consecutively? It just proves that despite the potential that we see from Clockun, despite his rising performance this season, that veterancy, that experience, that mechanic coming in from Sans is still godlike, is still unparalleled. We saw that in that 1v1, but now in a 4v5 situation, the Lord Dance will ensue.
Pull the Minotaur into the knockout strike as a feather airstrike demolishes Fluffy in the front. Lutpi zones them away. Annabelle's looking for an entrance though. Jumps in the puncture, very, very low. Has a door noses, but Annabelle, no, he will not be able to find it. CW with lazy Nuba to the back, and Brown's gunned down by Calvin Winata. That's a double kill for CW. 3-4-0.
Fnatic Onyx, the defending champions, come back and come alive in the 16th minute of the game. That latest pickup from CW, that Malefic Roar from CW, doing them justice.
Those other airstrike deal some damage and also trying to clear up the waves, but CW is so sustainable. Lutpi has already cleared out in the bottom lane as well. They can go for it. Sans is already hitting on the base. Mini wave in the bottom lane. That's going to be Clockun who flickers forward, but CW does not care. Game 1, Fnatic Onyx.
And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the defending champions, the kings of the galaxy, the kings of the sky, lead this best of 7 series. Reptar,
Yeah.
this saw you were clenching in your seat, bro.
I was clenching because the longer the game went, I was thinking, Evos, you're running out of time. The Farsa and the Claude, Coach Aldo, we're taking time bombs.
Yes, and yeah, Onyx, best snowballing team in the world. You cannot make mistakes against Onyx. They will punch you hard. Like this game, they have control in the early game, the mid game, but once that solo kill, Sun solo kill moment, and they just flip the switch, man. They just flip the switch.
What was it, right? Was it the power spike that eventually hit for Fnatic Onyx? Was that the moment that we were waiting for? Because in the early stage of the game, you could even argue that despite, you know, the early first blood, Onyx kept it very slow, the tempo, right? They didn't want to engage into too many things. We saw that in the top side of the game. What was going on?
I think Miyuko said it right. Chewe is still farming very well, and that's the main point. He still hit that 3-item spike in the 9 minutes despite their team losing, and that shows that the Onyx just gives space for Chewe so that she can farm well and then he can carry the game well in the late game.
Yeah, along with Onyx giving Chewe space, it was Evos saying, Chewe, go ahead and farm.
Yeah.
We want to continue building our early game by getting the first Lord. They got the first Lord. Interestingly enough, Annabelle didn't get to Retribution. It was a late retry. It was just his damage that got it. But the long-term sacrifice was the fact that Chewe, the Claude, got to farm up comfortably.
I mean, it's a great play by Onyx there too, because they know that Lutfi is going to be taking a lot of attention away from Evos. They're spending so much time trying to dive him, trying to shut him down, that CW is left relatively untouched. And in one of those big fights, man, I believe we saw the damage dealt in Teamfight, the new asset, which is very cool. But he did 16,000 damage alone when everyone else was doing 2,000, 3,000. So he was definitely outputting an insane amount of damage that cannot be ignored. Even though for Evos, they've tried to prepare for it by allowing Fluffy to just build for a full defensive, physical defense build with the Anti-Cuirass, with the Blade Armor, and with the Dominance Ice as well. But against a late game Claude, it doesn't matter, man. Eventually, you will fall.
So if we had to say and pinpoint a mistake that Evos did in that first game, could you maybe give us a list?
I'm going to have to go back to what Coach Aldo mentioned, that solo kill first by Sans in mid. Even though you got the Winter Truncheon in time, it was just you delaying your own doom. With him falling there, that allowed Onyx to push forward, get a little bit more advantage in that Lord. And then for me, it would have to go back to the fact that I understand why Evos wanted to trade the tower at the bot and Chewe being able to push for the first Lord. But after that, you're going to have to find a kill for the Claude. They couldn't.
I think right now, for me, I can see both sides, right? For Evos-Glory, I think the main mistake is they weren't able to utilize that fast pace of their dive composition. But the thing is, they were stopped by Fnatic Onyx. It's very different to GeekFam yesterday, because on the Lancelot, on the Valentina yesterday, up against GeekFam, how they were able to take the game over GeekFam is the fact that they kept on making GeekFam think. They kept on making GeekFam overthink. But that's up against, unfortunately, a lesser team. Fnatic Onyx are not that. You take a look at the skies and you see Fnatic Onyx.
Wait.
Fnatic Onyx do not hesitate.
Who did you call a lesser team?
GeekFam. Compared to Fnatic Onyx, you can see the instant, and I think Aldo will back me up on this, the instant decision to go for the turtle. Yesterday, what did Ray do? What did Beloyski do? They went to the top lane, they tried to deny the farm, and it ended up with them making a mistake. And that's what Evos wanted. They wanted these clashes. Fnatic Onyx saying, no, we're just going to go for the neutral objective. We'll fight our way.
I mean, there's also the fact that if you look at the composition, right, there's a Minotaur, there's a Terizla, so it's a big teamfight composition, and Annabelle is diving in the backline, and he was doing well and having a lot of burst damage in the early game, but Evos can't really go for quote-unquote pickoffs because they have big teamfight ultimates, so they're going to be forced to play around the neutral objective, and we saw that Onyx were able to just pull them apart by playing that macro game, so that's one more problem that Evos will definitely have to try and solve.
And the main point that I can take from that first game is like they tried to punish Luffy, the Pakiro, not the Claude, not Chewe's Claude. I think and they failed to do so, right? The dive on top lane, and that brings so much time for Onyx, and especially for Chewe to free farm, to have the items that he needs to be a thing in the team fight.
Yeah. So honestly, it was a very difficult spot for Evos, right? I mean, they tunnel vision on the Paquito, they tunnel vision on Lutfi, but for great reason, right? He was also dishing out the damage. They tried to go for the shutdown, but in return, they had to kind of, turn a blind eye over to CW. So what were they supposed to do? It's a difficult spot, is it not?
I think it gets to a certain point where it's scary, Arashi, because they played it well. It wasn't like an outdraft situation or anything.
they just played their cards better than Evos. I mean, it's also the fact that usually Brands is who they rely on to try and go for that end. But if you look at the build earlier, he wasn't going for that late game shred build. He was going for a bit more of that aggressive burst damage execute style. And unfortunately, he is one of the only members that can be relied on to do that DPS and try and contest with CW. So they're still lacking in damage, and that's why probably even the Paquito on Lupi was building for tank. Because he knows that if I get just a bit tankier and I don't get bursted down, I can get out. I'm going to be so difficult to secure for Evos.
So with that, I actually do want to know your predictions. I know we're kind of late, we're already a game in, but I like your predictions. I'll let you guys think about it first.
Okay.
Coach as well as Reptar. So think about it in this break because we do want to talk to Budeklar, Mongstar, and Monica. Take it away.
Saja ini baru game yang pertama karena seperti yang disampaikan oleh Bude Clara, ini best of 7 series. Setiap tim yang ingin memenangkan gelar sebagai Raja Galaksi harus menang 4 game terlebih dahulu. Dan di sini Bude Clara, wah, Evos fans, kemudian ada Sonic di sini begitu semangat. Dan tentunya telah hadir juga bersama-sama dengan kita di sini ada Menteri Pemuda dan Olahraga Republik Indonesia, Bapak Aryo Bimo Nandito Aryo Tejo. Selamat datang Pak Dito, Pak Menteri.
Bahagia sekali tentunya bisa hadir di sini, mendukung acara ini dan turut menyaksikan pula.
Selamat datang Bapak, dan tentunya kami ucapkan selamat datang kepada Bapak Cahyono Prasetyanto, Deputi Hubungan Internasional PBSI. Selamat datang Bapak.
Bahagianya kita bisa bertemu juga dan berjumpa secara langsung. Namun selanjutnya juga ada Bapak Iwan Takwin, selaku Direktur Utama PT Jakarta Propertindo. Selamat datang Pak.
Luar biasa
Ramai di
ya,
sini.
Bude.
Yes, semuanya sudah berkumpul di sini dan bisa merasakan dari keramaian dan juga tentu saja ada Bapak Adi Adnyana selaku Direktur Bisnis dan Operasional dari PT Jakarta Propertindo. Wow, para VIP sudah hadir di sini merasakan bahwa super fans untuk babak grand final ini begitu meriah dan begitu memukau pula.
Betul sekali, dan tentunya kalau di sini kita sudah lihat super fans begitu semangat, sepertinya tak lengkap rasanya kalau kita tidak mendengarkan mungkin apa yang menjadi kesan atau mungkin ada pesan-pesan dari pemerintah yang kali ini diwakili oleh Menpora. So sama-sama kita sambut Bapak Aryo Bimo Nandito Aryo Tejo, Menteri Pemuda dan Olahraga Republik Indonesia.
Halo Pak, boleh di tengah-tengah? Di tengah?
Bisa Bapak di tengah-tengah
Di tengah saja.
agar terlihat. Silakan Bapak, apa yang ingin disampaikan, mungkin kesan-kesan dan juga mungkin ada pesan-pesan untuk super fans di sini.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore. Mana pendukungnya Onyx? Evos. Yang di luar teriak juga. Mana pendukungnya Onyx yang di luar? Gak kedengeran. Evos. Ya, yang pertama yang saya hormati di sini Pak Dirut Jakpro, Pak Iwan, besar jajaran, dan Pak Deputi PBSI, Pak Cahyono, dan juga Mr. Dilan from Munton, dan Mas Piri dari ByteDance, dan juga seluruh para peserta dari final MPL, para atlet dari Evos dan juga Onyx, dan seluruh para pendukung yang ada di Velodrome Jakarta. Tepuk tangan semuanya. Jujur ini pertama kali saya menghadiri final MPL. Dan ini ternyata pendukungnya sangat dahsyat. Tepuk tangan untuk pendukungnya. Saya benar-benar terkejut. Apalagi melihat betapa ramainya tadi saya lihat di depan yang nobar. Jadi untuk penyelenggara selanjutnya harus di tempat yang lebih besar. Setuju nggak? Saya tantang selanjutnya final di Indonesia Arena. Itu keren. Dan saya juga mengucapkan terima kasih kepada tim, khususnya Evos dan Onyx, di mana dua tim ini Juli akan berangkat ke Riyadh mewakili Indonesia di kejuaraan dunia e-sport yang diadakan di Arab Saudi. Semoga tim dari Indonesia ini bisa lolos ke final. Jadi para pendukung, saya ucapkan terima kasih dan juga mari kita support bersama-sama karena saya yakin ke depan e-sport kita akan makin maju. Tahun ini adalah tahun pertama e-sport dipertandingkan di Pekan Olahraga Nasional. Dan juga kita mengetahui selama ini e-sport Indonesia sudah selalu memberikan kita kontribusi untuk SEA Games dan Asian Games. Semoga ini selalu dijaga. Dan tahun 2024 tidak lama ini Bapak Presiden sudah mengeluarkan peraturan Presiden khusus percepatan industri game nasional. Jadi komitmen pemerintah untuk dunia e-sport tidak perlu diragukan. Semoga e-sport kita selalu maju dan atlet-atlet kita berprestasi di dunia. Setuju? So enjoy the game, semoga yang menang yang terbaik. Dan selanjutnya menang lagi di kejuaraan dunia Riyadh Juli 2024. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Pak Menpora dan tentunya itu luar biasa kesan-kesan dari seorang Menteri Pemuda Olahraga dan juga Olahraga Republik Indonesia ya Bu Deklara, melihat antusiasme dari super fans di sini.
Betul, tapi kita harus menunjukkan semangat kita dari Grand Final ini. Mari kita satukan suara, Sonic!
Siap-siap, mana suara? Evos fans!
Bersama-sama, super fans sambutlah game kedua, game lanjutan untuk pertarungan Grand Final.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from that break with Bude Clara, Mongstar, and Monica. But did you guys see how packed it is outside of the venue?
I saw and I heard. Yeah. Someone was yelling out like, wow, that's an insane amount of people. Caught me completely off guard.
I have no idea who you're referring to.
Me neither.
Absolutely none. So finally, we get to circle back to that topic that we did before the break, right? Predictions.
Like for this again?
For this entire series.
Again? All right. Okay. So earlier in the pre-show, I just mentioned a score. I said 4-0. For who? I didn't say. But I mean, look who won game one. So
That's cheating.
what do you mean?
You just said 4-0 just to, you know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm traumatized with predictions. I'm done. 4-0 Fnatic Onic. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yesterday he predicted Geek Fam.
Yeah.
So maybe
he
that's why
lost.
he's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Man. He doesn't want to do it.
What about you, Coach?
I'm gonna be blunt. It's 4-0 for Fnatic Onic.
Oh. That's
just-
like confidence.
He
He did that during the award ceremony, by the way. I was doing like the panelist thing. Looked over to Aldo. Aldo was like, you 4-0. He just did that. He just did this. You 4-0. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. I guess we got the prediction early.
Okay, so it seems like, well, who did you vote for? You vote for Evos.
See, people, for some reason, in the
Is it the
comment
curse
section
thing?
of the Indonesian stream has been saying, Mirko anti-Evos. I think they're not aware that I have this power. So I gave it to them. Now I voted for Evos. Are you happy? Be careful what you wish for, man. Sometimes might not be what the outcome that you want. And maybe for Evos, it's the same idea, right? I think they're trying to really force Onic to a composition that can't really go for a proper team fight. But then as a result, right, it's not about the team fights. It becomes about the pickoff. So what to see what kind of extra new technology Fnatic Onic can bring for our pleasure.
Did you say technology?
Yes, I did.
New technology? Awesome technology?
Awesome.
You must be referring to the Samsung Galaxy S24 series, weren't you?
Of course I am. What else fits that description, Eterna? It was epic gaming performance powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor designed specifically for Galaxy. Man, say goodbye to lags on its smooth performance to keep your cool with that large vapor chamber that prevents overheating. That is what is going to elevate your gaming skills like a pro gamer and dominate the battlefield.
Sorry, here you go.
Yeah.
You get.
Alright.
I'll be nice today.
Cool.
You'll get to play with my
All right, you
toy.
guys go talk. I'll use the sensor.
Can you use a translator? Because apparently it has the AI that can translate into 15 foreign languages into Indonesian. Try it out.
Reptar, do you want to learn Indonesian?
I can't find it. Here,
Okay,
I
okay.
need
We'll
help.
give it
I
to
need
Miracle.
help.
Miracle's
I
the
need
most
help.
technological equipped.
I'm just not old like you guys. Excuse me, what? Here it
He
is.
just
Here's the
dissed like
interpreter,
4
right?
people.
So you can translate from Indonesian to Korean. You know a bit of Indonesian, right? You tap on this button right here, and you say what you want to say in Indonesian, and then you tap it again, and it'll translate it to Korean.
Okay.
Okay, let's try.
I'll try. Nama saya Reptar. Saya dari MPL Filipina.
Tap again. Yeah. Put it in the mic.
Very nice.
I mean, we hear it.
Okay.
We can hear it, all right? The crowd's making it really hard for us to hear.
Exactly, there is some sound, but compared to the
I'm
arena,
sorry, guys. It's the Evos fans. They're the Sonics outside of the building making noise. We have the Evos fans in the building making noise. You know what? If you guys are still at home right now, you guys need to make it to the venue. Come over to Jakarta International Velodrome so you guys can witness this electric atmosphere in person. Reptar has.
It's life-changing, honestly. Like,
Life-changing?
no, legit. I remember when we were doing the Filipino broadcast of M4 back home in the Philippines. Every time I see the fans, how active they are here in Indonesia, I get a little bit jealous, not gonna lie. Because like, I'm a football fan myself. I love the football culture. Even though I support a team that like struggles in football, but like, you know,
Say it, say
what
the name of the team.
I'm not gonna say Tottenham Hotspur. Okay,
What do you think?
What?
Yeah.
What do you think of? Okay, I can't do this.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
you can't do
By the way,
that
I'm
here.
sorry, I'm sorry.
I just want to tell you,
Sorry.
right, Eterna, because while you were shaking your head in disgust, Aldo was doing the same thing and I was doing the same thing.
That kind of hurt, coach. The moment I said Tottenham Hotspur, how come you looked disgusted?
Because I also support teams that is struggling right now.
Oh, who?
Manchester United.
Oh, no.
You just made it worse.
Yeah.
No.
You just made it worse. It's like I wanted to ask about the atmosphere thing to Coach Aldo, but at some point they were cheering for him, so like we don't need to ask.
Oh, that's it.
Right?
Yeah.
He's used to it because usually the fans are cheering for him.
That's true. I actually have a question for Coach Aldo, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
Yeah.
So I always ask this to coaches and analysts. For teams, the players, do you have to tell them to like, hey, don't mind the fans, try to drown out the crowd, like especially when it's this loud? Does it actually have a effect on the players?
Of course, yeah. I mean, what I did first when I'm coaching, I ask them to feel the energy, to feel the crowd, to be one with the atmosphere and everything. And yeah, when you lock in, yeah, you will not hear anything. So yeah, just get used to it. Like for me, when I'm coaching, when I see these fans chanting everything, I use it as a energy for me.
So the mentality.
It's more, it's amazing. It's more fun, and I get shivers hearing the chants and everything. So I miss.
But for rookies, right? For people new to the professional scene, it does take a toll on them, does it not?
Yes. Some of the rookies, maybe if we can say your favorite team, Google, maybe he feels some jitters.
We don't talk about
Okay,
that.
we don't talk
That
again.
was a low blow.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say something, but I don't think I can do it to Coach Aldo. I like him too much.
Y'all talking about Liquid, right?
No, I'm
All
talking
right.
about alter ego that.
What? Okay. Let's stop this, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2, drafts. It's getting spicy here, but it's even getting spicier now in the draft because Evos have decided to stay on blue despite the loss on blue in game 1.
they still enjoy that whole idea that they can force the Harris
Gaze
right
the
to be banned away
stars
from them.
and seek your
And then
path.
there's gonna be the Moskov here, still respected from Brand. We've seen that for Brand.
said there are no
He's been like one of the members,
literally
especially when the
invented
game
one.
goes all the way to the late game, and he's on a hero. They can still do a lot of damage in the early game, mid game, but also carry that late game. The Moskov really seems to be something they can use the best. So without that, again, now what will he find as a substitute?
These are exactly the same bands.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. Do you think that Evos will go for a different route?
I would understand if they want to pick up the Valentina, then just make some adjustments, have a gold laner that will scale a little bit later into the late game. Because again, it wasn't like a big out draft. Evos could have taken control of the game and then ran away with it, but Onyx just played better.
I agree, because I feel like if you're on the Evo side, you know how to make the second game better with the same draft, because you know what mistakes that you do in the first game, like maybe don't overcommit on Sans, and maybe we should pressure CW more. Maybe we're looking at the same draft, but look at Onyx, they're changing some things.
And I like this because it's Fnatic Onyx now telling Evos, we're forcing you to change up. We changed ourselves. We're the one dictating the tempo of this change.
It's kind of scary when you see Onyx on a aggressive early game composition. We talked about how CW used to be so passive, and now he has that aggressive spirit in him. But the fact that there's so much similarities in the banning phase for Aldo, you think this is like looking at drafts earlier, and we said that Evos have a tendency to do ego draft.
Yeah, look at here. It's kind of an ego draft. It's Terizla Nolan. It's like saying, I'm gonna pick my strongest hero for this game, and yeah, you want to go early game, we can go early game too with Terizla and Nolan.
This is how that plays out then, because Nolan is great, but against a team that knows how to target, that knows how to ration their card control, it can be quite difficult to be maneuvering around.
Yeah, and if ever Fnatic Onyx beats this Nolan, it's going to be the first stain on the record of Evos' Nolan. Currently 5-0 is Annabelle for that hero. So if this is a loss, then you're going to be heading into game number 3. It's going to be a test of your mental. It's like you're undefeated big, heading into the grand finals, loses in game 2. So Evos, I expect their last 2 picks to complement this Nolan well and help this Nolan well.
Let's go.
But it's suddenly, all right, you want to go assassin? Kari gets his fanny.
Ego what? Fanny.
Ego what?
In the second game of the series, you mentioned, Coach Aldo, that you thought that the Fredrin pick in the first game might have been a bait, and now we see the fanny.
Yeah, because Evos is playing assassin, so Onyx said, if you want to assassin versus assassins against us, so be it. We'll take it. Maybe if it's 7 games, assassin versus assassin, we'll take it because we are the better team as an assassin.
But how does this Nolan perform against the Fanny, who has more prio?
For clearing speed, for farming speed, I think Nolan has the upper hand. But during skirmishes, during pickoffs, Fanny have the upper hand. But let's see. But I think in assassin matchup, it's not about just the assassins, but also the other 4 teams, 4 players that need to play with the assassins.
Yeah, and Coach Aldo was telling me about this backstage during the gala. We actually had to got a chance to chat about it. And now looking at it, the Farsa and the Roger together paired up with the Fanny. When you think about it, it's not necessarily like 5v5, this. It's the Roger and Farsa are 2 heroes that can do stuff on their own to set it up for the Fanny. Sand sees someone, burst them down, suddenly Kyrie comes in. Cherwet's just going to be clawing, scratching, getting 1v1s, getting someone low, then Kyrie flies in. So I agree with your point there, Coach Aldo.
And yeah, that's what I like also about this draft, is because the Fanny can also come in first, and then the Roger can clean up. So it's a flexible. I think Onyx know like how their win counts, and they will adapt in game for sure.
I think flexibility, that is just one of the biggest strengths of Onyx. You see this composition, and usually you can kind of get an idea, right? Okay, usually Sans will be the aggressor, he'll start with a better airstrike, and then the team can try and clean up. But with Onyx, you wouldn't be too surprised to even see them start off the fight with the Fanny, with the Roger, and then let Sans become the cleanup crew with a better airstrike.
Yeah, and exactly, that's why I like this Tamos ban by Evos, because they're taking away more heroes that are strong in 1v1s, are strong in handling stuff alone. So they even took out the CZ, and now of course the Edith. Roam or EXP though, I'm not quite sure.
We have a fun fact here for all regions. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, as a little bit of an intermezzo, Matilda is the hero with the highest pick and ban rate during the regular season of MPL PH, MPL MY, and MPL ID Season 13 and NACT Spring 2024. But funnily enough, we don't see a Matilda at all right now, and even from the first game.
It is very interesting that the priority of Matilda has disappeared. Evos now with Ruby and Carry, so if the lineup of Fnatic Onyx are strong as individuals and can set each other up that way, Evos very strong with the team fighter.
I think the Edith pick is going to be still a flex pick because I think Coach Shep wants a good matchup for Keyboy in the roaming position. But I can see the Edith being put in the roaming position because Edith and Ruby, Edith have the upper hand for sure.
Yeah.
And I think we can see a good XP lane for Luffy. Maybe still the Pakiro, I'm not sure, but maybe also a Cho for the aggressive pick in the roamer position.
Oh, Cho in the XP.
So Edith, Ludwig, Cho, Keyboard?
Yeah, something like, or even a Barrett, yeah, for sure.
Combined.
Yeah.
All right. We're talking a lot about having good balance in the composition here on the English desk. How if you have one hero that can be a great crowd control tool, the other needs to be a solid front line that can take some damage. So how do you feel about the situation here? Terizla Ruby combo compared to the Barad's Edith?
I think whoever can CC the jungler, the assassins, wins this game for sure. Like whoever have Barats and the Edith and also the Ruby and Terizla who is more sharp will win the objective fight, and it will lead to the snowball for the Nolan or the Fanny in this game.
Yeah, and it also looks like a tough decision for Clockern. Which ultimate are you going to get for the Valentina? There's some strong ultimates on the side of Onyx that will really round out the team fighting of Evo's Glory.
Evo's Glory now lead. Not lead.
Trail.
They're trailing the series, ladies and gentlemen. If they want to continue forward, if they want a fighting chance, they need to be able to get this win in the second game of the series. Welcome back to the land of Dawn for game number 2 for Evo's Glory and Fnatic Onyx.
Welcome to
I
Mobile
just have to
Legends.
say that Edith Flex was just beautiful, right? Because it was Flex, it technically gave the opportunity to go for a great pick for either the roam, either double down like the Cho. We saw the Cho in the XP yesterday. By Luke, also up against the Nolan. You want to try to lock him down, like Aldo said. But Emblems, let's get a quick glance.
Well, it's all the lethal ignitions for the side of Fnatic Onyx. They have a lot of burst damage, and that extra bit sometimes will be enough to seal the deal. Keyboy, though, with the Quantum Charge, wants to try and have some more maneuverability and, of course, sustainability when he's just moving around, going for these small skirmishes. The big concern I have right here, especially for Onyx, is the fact that they do have the Edith, but they can give the Primal Wrath into the hands of Clockun on the Valentina. And that way, they'll get one more massive tool of DPS. And usually, when you're fighting against DPS, against a team with a Terizla, it's going to be difficult to try and contest the burst. Now with a Terizla and a carry, in theory, on paper, Evo shouldn't really lose out when it comes to a front-to-front clash.
There's a lot of confidence, I believe, seeping out from Sans, going in for the Purify against Fluffy's power pick. Oh, that's a lot of damage already placed from Kyrie in the early game. Wait a minute.
Fracture Annabelle! First blood! Waiting for the energy to be used up and then punishing.
Woo. Out of nowhere, Annabelle reading out the maneuvers, reading out the movements. Just like that, small win. And in an assassin matchup, that could be deadly. Oh, mid lane though.
Earth Shatter, and then onward just used to gap close a little bit. Dreams though, still holding on to that flicker.
Wow. It's a little similar to game number 1, right? That counter-aggression play coming through, and Evos were able to get the better out of that exchange. But the question is, what about the setup? Fluffy at level 4 already can utilize his penalty zone to get a little bit of a grasp on this neutral objective, but we'll see.
Not able to find a death as well. Come on, one as a penalty zone. Flickers into it, but Annabelle gets slain by Sans, who's still able to dish out some damage. Keyboy is the one who picks up the turtle. Clockwood stole the Primal Wrath away, but look at Fluffy who's isolated. Keyboy flickers forward. Earth Shatter to take him down, immobilize as well. Onto Dreams, and Keyboy wants to continue this chase, but gets shooed away by Clockwood.
That was essentially a 2-for-0 trade made in by Fnatic Onyx as they were able to pick up the objective and that kill over. And that was the curious thing, right? With the fact that Fluffy was able to utilize it, but there was no follow-up with the penalty zone that he popped up in that final moment to cancel the Feather Airstrike. Arashi, what happened there?
I think it's just unfortunate for Evos. In theory, right, the Terizla should be a direct counter to the Parsa, but now Keyboy getting jumped on.
The Fracture as well used up. Keyboy still trying to walk away, and Clockwood finds one last basic attack to finally take Keyboy down.
As I was saying though, there's burst damage available for sure, and usually when a Terizla gets onto you, there's not much you can do. But now Terizla,
Nom into the cable, the penalty zone defensively used up, but then he stomps on his head as he's unconscious.
Arashi. I'm sorry, my guy. I keep throwing it over to you, but every time you begin, you get interrupted, so please continue.
No, we will only accept the sorry from Fnatic Onic.
That's true.
Yeah, they don't owe me an apology, man. Every single time I start a train of thought, it can never finish. But then again, this is the grand finals, and both these teams, again, when they do see an opportunity, they always want to play for this high-tempo style. I think Evos have their eyes on Sans, though. Will Keyboy sneak this out? All right. Gonna be a slow situation for now, yet again. Always seems to revolve around the neutral objectives. Especially with the Assassins, though, I expected a lot more ganks, a lot more burst attempts on the side laners. Especially now that Brands is on the carry. He has the tenacity and the firmness, so he's a lot tankier than CW, who went for the Master Assassin. He wants to make sure that he has dominance in this lane that will allow all these high maneuver tools from Fnatic Onic to be funneled somewhere else. Perhaps to Ludpi, for him to be then the main front line. They can just go for these detailed welcomes, and if he lands on Annabelle, it's a done deal like we saw in the previous fight.
Part of the Primal Bennett fracture as well. Keyboy not able to pop in the Primal Wrap. Harry has rejoined the team fight. As Fluffy gets one kill, Annabelle still on the turtle, able to secure it. Backs away instantly. Meanwhile, Fluffy still trying to zone Sans. Annabelle looking for an angle. Jetson is welcome, going to be used up only towards the back. But Lippy, what happened to his HP bar? The Dino getting melted. Kyrie looking for a trade back. Goes on to Annabelle. Woo, but it's forced back.
That's Lupi taken down, and the fact is, that's a trade back in.
Ooh.
Oh.
Fluffy continues this. Kyrie's got to be careful. Spaces out very, very well. And in the bottom lane, it seems Dreams has been shoot away. Feather airstrike, flicker sounds! But Dreams gets out too with his own flicker. Look at Keyboy walking around, canceling that recall. Now trying to sandwich them. Conceal. Cancel their recalls. It was all just a bait. Keyboy has delayed them, and he might just delay it again. Primal Wrath thrown away. Keyboy still trying to find this angle. Fluffy in the back goes into the penalty zone. Locks Keyboy down with an Earth Shatter. Used up the Primal Wrath and flicker out. Fnatic Onic have outplayed Evos-Glory in this bottom lane. That's another miss up. Pull Fluffy back. One more shot to do it. And Keyboy is still melting Clock and 4 members who are now forced to run away. And now, before the airstrike cancels it, Kai assassinates Brand. CW with a Lycan pounce takes Glockman. Dreams the push, the pace. Fnatic Onic, it's all on them.
The defending champions in minute number 6, they bare their teeth and they show the White Tigers what claws are really made of. A 3-4-0 trade. Meanwhile, Annabelle going to be able to get a trade in for that tower in the top side. But despite everything, it's nowhere near as dominant as what Fnatic Onic are showing to us as we take a look at the items.
Also, CW going with the Windtalker. Gonna go for more basic attacks for later on, but Brands, he recognizes the need for extra physical defense already with the Steel Liquid, but it doesn't matter if the fights kind of play out like this. Now with Onic controlling, Dreams goes for Keyboy.
Only Earthshaker connects onto 2. Fluffy goes in for the penalty zone. That's a retreat from Annabelle. A retreat and a run. Dream's gonna be melted down. Fluffy's next on the chopping block as Fnatic Onic pop that, conceal it, go and chase. CW has a Lycan form. Kyrie goes in for the cutthroat, and it's Sans who executes them. Fluffy and Dreams traded for the turtle. Fnatic Onic want to get more. The purple buff is what they set their sights on. Keyboy predicts the dash of Annabelle, and CW goes in for the Lycan pounce. My goodness!
Dominance, brilliance, intelligence, whatever thesaurus given. Not really sure which one you would like to use here, but what? Dreams? Okay, they don't find the kill. But that was a 3-4-0 trade again for Fnatic Onic. And it's just such a shame for Annabelle, because up until this point, he's always been able to farm so much quicker. He was a level ahead at some point. Now Kyrie's caught up, but he had more of a say in these neutral objectives, but it really doesn't matter. He gets the objectives, but look at how Fnatic Onic traded back.
He was still hanging on to the gold advantage earlier, right before the whole sequence of events, even with the neutral objective. But just like that, Keyboy, man, earlier, the threat to stop the recalls on the bottom side, to buy time for Kyrie to come in and clean up. And even there, the prediction to think that Annabelle was going to try and make a play to secure his buff. This man is an absolute menace, and this just locks down Annabelle. now, whenever he's trying to make a play, he's gonna always be worrying about where's Keyboy? What's Keyboy doing? And that few seconds of hesitation can be deadly in a game of this magnitude.
The mind games, and now the damage that Sans has built for himself. That burst damage that comes out before they even go in for these team fights, they have been detrimental. Now he's holding 3 items, if I'm not mistaken.
DS2, now they're looking for the purple buff again. Another airstrike onto the back of Flicker as well. Clock could leave additional. He's forced to pop the Primal Wrath just to survive.
Great play by Clocken, but in the end, that's still a defensive play. Despite all the aggressive tools Evos has, Fnatic Onyx are making sure that everything needs to be popped defensively. Flocking with the Athenas though, will be able to walk up earlier. In the previous game, he ignored the magical defense, not really caring about Sans' damage. Now it's a different story with Keyboy on the Edith. The Primal Wrath basic attacks will be something that he has to contend with if he wants to be the main frontline, to buy some time for Brands to be able to just shred someone down.
Yeah, you can't underestimate Gila Sans. There's Gila in front of his name for a reason, right? And even Clocken is now feeling that pressure. The fact that he now has to find yet another ultimate, find and close that gap, that's a big risk because of that trigger with the IMU. And if that happens, that actually can be a loophole utilized by Fnatic Onyx to go in for that pickup before they go in for this neutral objective take. And by the way, Annabelle had a level lead above of Kyrie. Now it's completely swapped. Kyrie level 14, Annabelle level 13.
Oh, the missiles catches on Fluffy. That's his welcome straight into the Phantom Airstrike and the Earth Shadow. Fluffy cannot walk. He cannot do anything. A Purify from CW is now going to be Kyrie who jumps in with a cutthroat onto Annabelle, who's still able to dash away, but Kyrie continues his onslaught of damage onto Clocken, who's forced to use the Primal Wrath to escape. 1-for-1 XP for XP.
Did I see Kyrie cut through the Lord in the middle of that fight? It said like he moved in the direction of the Lord for ever so slightly in that fight instead of going for the big kills. Brands though!
The airstrike. This time Sans doesn't have the flicker, so Brands can just walk out of it.
8 more seconds before that happened. But yes, in the fight, Ludwig here taking a page out of Geek Fam's book. We thought the choke was what he was going to use in this fight against Annabelle on the Nolan, but no, he went with the Barats, and he was able to get a big pick off there. And being the main engage tool, he's a lot more impactful here compared to Fluffy, who in theory can do a lot of work with the penalty zone, showing again the potential of this Barats in the EXP lane.
Yeah, you think that the Barat is more of a passive hero, right? You just want to tank up the damage, you just want to soak in the damage. And these pilots, they say otherwise.
Another onward, and it baits out the flicker. The main initiation tool of Evil's Glory has just been baited out.
Just like that, it's a slow game as Kyrie zooming around. Even in the macro department, for the most part, the waves are so easily controlled because this is the big benefit for the Fanny. There's a lot more mobility, whereas Annabelle, his benefit is the faster damage output, the faster burst damage that can be followed up on crowd control. But right now, he has to wait for Dreams to try and do something, and Dreams can't really find a way to get to the squishy members that can be one-shot. Dreams will be looking for someone like Keyboy, someone like Lutpi. So he's kind of locked in here. Annabelle not really having some targets and not really having any avenues to even go for a flank to try and find Sans or CW.
Again, those missiles is able to bring Fluffy in. Penalty zone cancelled out. Kyrie picks up the Lord. And Fnatic Onyx, they just use that conceal as a feint.
Right now, Sans has picked up the Winter Truncheon as well. Even more safety, even more security for him. As we said, like earlier, there's going to be more damage output coming in from Evos, but with Keyboy on the Edith, it might just even out. If he goes for the Winter, I don't think there's any chance for Evos to really stand there and tank damage waiting for it to actually expire. Looking at the rest of the items though, Kyrie with the BOD, with the Malefic Roar, he even went with the Dread and Armor just in case, right? For the potential 1v1 scenario. But with that kind of mobility, with how he's been playing it, if he doesn't feel like he can win the 1v1, he just walks away. No problem at all.
As a mid laner, anyone with their right mind would go for Purify against Fluffy's Terizla, right? But not Sans. And the fact that he didn't go for Purify, the fact that he went for Flicker instead, that early winter truncheon does make sense because most of the time he's using this flicker as well to gain an advantage, to gain and close that gap when he pops in that feather airstrike. And if he goes in for something like the Purify, honestly, it takes away from his edge. It takes away from his aggression, so it really does make sense. But now, ladies and gentlemen, most of these turrets have fallen. Kyrie already trying to go for the baits.
Oh, gets baited in by Brands though, and will have to be punished. A very rare mistake, but it happened.
That was looking so good for just a bit. But Brands there, even before the Wind of Nature, was able to actually get that kill. That was unfortunate for Fnatic Onyx, but for the most part, they still have that control. And now they gotta be a bit more careful. This is where Evos is at their comfort zone, this late game discipline style, with Brands having a lot of damage, a lot of say.
And I'm offended into the dash block, penalties only to the backline, but it doesn't find Suns. His Keyboy does the same thing in the back, but it's gonna be a Purify from Brands. Primal Rat to escape, look, he loses his life. CW with the Lycan Pounce, able to get 2 immortalities, but now it's Clocker with the Primal Rat Suns. Winner truncheon into the fracture has. Doesn't have the flicker, he's gonna be slayed by Clocker and Keyboy with the immortality. Kyrie, no purple, but Lycan Pounce! But Calvin Winata! And somehow, someway, they won that fight!
They made it a 3-4-2 trade. They made it a 3-4-2 trade. CW gonna have the space, gonna be able to take this purple buff away from Annabelle, and what looked like disaster for the defending champions has ultimately been turned around by CW, Mr. Constantly Winning.
And even by Kyrie, just came out of nowhere when Evos thought that he was out of the equation. Now he's going back at it again. That's a lot of damage from Brands though. Fortunately for Brands, he was actually able to stay alive in that fight, even though he and CW were kind of eyeing each other out at the end of it. Now with 8 seconds to go, Evos has yet another chance to try and go for it. Can they do so though with a 6k gold deficit?
Let's circle back on CW though, right? 4-0-5 so far on a Roger that notoriously is very reliant on the snowball, right? Would you consider Fnatic on the snowball? How far is the items looking for CW?
CW at this point is at a full inventory slot if you consider the boot as well. He has the Rose Gold even, so he can just go in aggressively, especially with the Roger, right? A lot tankier right now. Keyboy being the gatekeeper here, is waiting for a chance, waiting for an opportunity. And this is the problem, especially for Evos. They can't really go and shut and deny and burst someone down immediately. The card control tools don't last that long. And at this point, Keyboy and Lupi are just a bit too tanky.
Look at that. Look at seal play by Evos-Glory. But Fnatic Onyx know how to play this macro. They play it slow.
It looks like Kyrie gonna utilize his high mobility on Fanny to be able to create a push in the top lane. Trying to force, oh, wait a minute.
Keyboy on Earth Shatter. Not gonna fully commit on that. Fluffy might just be assassinated, losing the HP bar down to a 4. Death as well can be committed. He's still picking and choosing who he wants to go for. He doesn't decide to go for it, and the Feather Airstrike gets used up to shoo Evos-Glory away from this mid lane.
That's a big resource spent out. Fnatic Onyx, they definitely want to go for a reset here without the Feather Airstrike as well as Lutfi's ultimate. And you can see that with Kyrie constantly pushing in the top lane, they have actually forced Annabelle to deal with it. So both teams have their reasons to go in for the reset.
Surprising though, seeing that Fluffy was so far away from his teams that Fnatic Onyx, their DPS output won't go for something, but CW, fortunately, wasn't really spotted right there, so there won't be big play from Evos to secure him. On the other hand, look at Sans. Is he waiting for Annabelle to try and go for a purple buff?
Gila Sans. What is he thinking here?
It seems to be a possibility, but now he'll be backing away, going back to the Lord. With the wave pushing on the top side, this is their chance, this is their moment. Once again, the patience games continue. Whereas for Fnatic Onyx and Evos, they've both shown that they don't really panic and make a crazy move unnecessarily in these situations.
Blanco no purifying. Keyboy goes in for the on-brand. The Earth Shadow, but look at Brands' damage. Was able to melt one down. Keyboy forced to use the Primal Wrath, loses immortality. Lippy has immortality as well. Keyboy able to flicker around and pops the conceal to disengage, but they leave Lippy all alone. Isolated, and Evos-Glory capitalize. Now on the Lord they go. Enhanced. 17 minutes in. Fnatic Onyx don't want no business. Not against this Evos-Glory lineup in the 18th minute.
That's a man advantage, and that's a neutral objective completely given to Evos on a silver platter. Kyrie. Okay. He gets out there.
Okay, dude, we get it.
We get it. You're good on assassins, man.
I mean, we don't talk about what happened in the top lane.
What happened in the top lane?
Nothing.
Happened. Well, for Evos right now, though, they are certainly trying to make something happen. Look at the bottom side. Kyrie is going for a push. CW adjusting his build to try and get a bit more DPS, a bit more clear. Against a full item carry, they seem to be struggling. But by the way, I believe Kyrie once again cut-throated the Lord in that fight, though. That's a massive, valuable chunk of damage for Fnatic Onyx. With the Lord coming in, they do have tools to clear, but they have to be careful, especially Sans, for a play from Evos to try and shut him down.
Yeah.
And no purple buff now.
But remember, Sans just picked up the Holy Crystal, so that damage is flowing.
Now with the Lord up top. Oh! So dive offended, pulling Lippy back, but he has the flicker to escape. Keyboy now holding it down. Kyrie goes with the control, does some damage. CW forced back, and Rose Gold gets popped in as Kyrie goes over the blade once again onto Brands. Who's still able to survive. Now Sans doing some damage back. Oh, what happened to Glockholm? He got demolished. Kai in the back with the cables once again. CW goes with the re-engage. He wants to go for the triple kill, and he gets it. Calvin Winata again and again and again.
Constantly winning. Winata, CW, what in the world? Time and time again, he is breaking boundaries, he is breaking limits, and he is breaking bones of Evo's glory. 4 members are down, Annabelle the only one up. There aren't necessarily minions for them to play with, but what's a play from Fnatic Onyx? Like, CW, that's tough enough, but with Kyrie's damage with them as well? Are they gonna go for the end?
I don't know. Dashing out. Keyboy! What was that? An onward up angle.
1 minion. They utilized 1 minion. The side lanes weren't even pushed. They didn't even need it. Fnatic Onyx again and again and again. It's a 2-0. Now for the defending champions, the Sky Kings.
Well, if this is your first time watching MPL Indonesia World, that's Fnatic Onyx. They're just that damn good. They drafted a lineup here, which I would call one for all. They have heroes that can stand on their own for the better of the team. Against Evos' all for one. All for Brands, and Fnatic Onyx just flexed all over Evos. The longer this fight goes, the more Evos feels that Fnatic Onyx just fights better than them.
They are locked in, man. Fnatic Onyx is locked in. Holy, those mechanical plays are amazing. Like, each individual mechanical plays are amazing. They're so good at Mobile Legends.
I like that. They're just so good at Mobile Legends. Coach Aldo 2024.
Put that on merch at this point, right? Onyx probably want to print that out because that's true. They were just better.
Even Coach Aldo's speechless. These were your kids. How did you make them like this? What did you do? What did you create?
What did you feed them?
You created the monster.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm speechless. Those mechanical plays leave me speechless. But overall for the game, I think both of teams have a very good understanding of how to win the games.
Yeah.
Both of teams needs to burst down the frontliners, the Baras, the Terizla, the Ruby, or the Edit. They need to pick up one of those heroes to win the fight. As we can see from the first turtle, even from the first turtle, I think it's Luffy Barat eating Nolan, right? Yeah. And then they try to snowball there, and then even after objective fights, he will always try to find the Terizla, the frontliner of Evos, and so do Evos Glory. They also try to find the Edith and also the Baras. They try to burst the frontliner first to win the game.
Unfortunately, this wasn't allowed, right, by Onyx. Whenever there is some kind of aggressive maneuver, we only saw a single moment there where Onyx really lost control and were forced to retreat all the way. And even then, we saw that Evos were able to capitalize almost immediately, understanding that this is a great opportunity. They go for the Lord and they go for the fight. But then they forget, right, in the playoffs right now, when teams are with their backs in their base, that's where they're the most dangerous. And for Onyx, with the Fanny, they can just go in and out, especially in the hands of Kyrie. We saw him burn the Wind of Nature and immediately
go to town and chase everyone down. And then you're talking about chase CW on the Roger. How fitting, right? Just chasing everyone down, hunting them, and just sealing the deal.
And it almost seems like, for Kyrie at least, right, it was just him dying out of formality. He's like, please don't ban Defending next year. Look at me, I'm not perfect. Look, I can dive and make mistakes, you know? Don't ban it away. And then he decides to defend like that again with no purple buff. And then Calvin went out of... Dude, CW has been snubbed out of all the categories so many times. Yep. This guy is so underrated, and I can't believe he's still underrated. I can't believe we have to say this for 4 or 5 seasons in a row.
Don't sleep on CW, man. It's not like that. There's a lot of highlights there for Kyrie. There's equally a lot of highlights there for CW. And that's why he's the MVP of the game.
Finally, he gets the recognition he deserves, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the player of the game presented to you by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 series. 707 KDA. You know, like, again, I keep saying this. I've said this over and over throughout this regular season. A lot of people have said that he is the weakest link for many seasons in a row, right?
8, 9, 10.
And this season, exactly, right? But here in season 13, he's developed so much. He's no longer the weak side gold laner. If you want to give him a hero like the Roger who needs to carry from the early game, he can do it. He can snowball, he can carry on those fights. He's... How?
Yeah, he's Mr. Underrated. He's very, very, so good. I mean, during my time in Onyx, I thought CW is very good. But seeing him now and evolve like this, oh my god, he's always been evolving every season. And in this season, season 13, he shows a different side of him. The Brody pick, the Roger pick, the early game marksman that he needs to fight early without even having to finish 3 items. And he can do it. He's an amazing player.
What was it? Was it like a mental thing that you kind of needed polish? Or what was going on with CW? How did he develop so quickly?
I think he have that mentality of like always trying to learn, always trying to want to improve, and that's the main quality of being a very good pro player.
For sure. I mean, if you're improving again and again, eventually you end up being a monster like this. And I think the same thing can be said about Onyx throughout the seasons. Even though they've been winning and they've been dominant, you see that they're still finding ways to improve, to be creative, to try and find a whole different mindset in trying to attain that victory.
Yeah. Looking back into game number 1, that felt like a good lesson of how to trade in Mobile Legends Bang Bang all throughout the map. Trading for the objectives, the turtles, the lords, and the towers. This was just game number 2 was a lesson on how to trade in team fighting. How well you can maximize your abilities at the right time. CW was the MVP because he knew, all right, we have a Fanny here that can burst either before or after. So it's all on me as this Roger to be able to maximize my Lycan pounds, my wolf form, and my human form to poke, and then eventually slash in.
There's that moment here in the end sequence where Kyrie, again, Grant, with all his finesse, with all his nerves of steel, can't help but use that wind of nature. And once they're on the back foot, we said it already. Onyx can start the fight with anyone, with Sans, with G-Boy, with Ludpi, and when Evos is on the back foot, it's just a different story, man. That play was disgusting.
It was 1 minion, by the way.
But what is that? That's an off angle onward, man. That's like...
I have a name for that. In the Philippines, Jean Faldas came up with a call called Sidestep Numenon Blast. That was a sidestep onward. That was a sidestep. Or crossover onward.
Oh my goodness. I saw an Onyx fan randomly just walk up to us and
absolutely no idea who that was.
Point out 4-0.
Who was
The
that?
audacity.
It looked like his name starts with a G.
And ends with Oni.
Oh my god, no way.
Lonnie?
Yeah, because the G silent. Yeah.
Yeah?
Jeez.
I don't judge.
Yeah.
20 minutes.
I mean, Goni has always been a silent G, especially with about Onyx.
No,
he has never boasted about his team's performance.
No.
He has never said that Onyx is the best.
That's
He
the
has
biggest
never
lie.
claimed that they are already looking past the playoffs and already looking at a 4-0.
Lies. Lies.
Never quote unquote.
lies. But again, 20 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, in game number 2 of this grand finals.
And honestly, like, we were talking about CW so much during the highlights, before the highlights. At this point, let's double down on that, right? Because I remember M4, we were talking about season 8, 9, 10, him being the weakest link, and M4, I think that was where he was exposed the most.
Yes.
I remember talking to Aldo as well, and I think everybody kind of agreed, right? CW was underperforming at M4. He was not doing well. He was borderline doing bad. Yet he stayed. Yet with all the doubts, even, you know, there were rumors Sans was going to go to gold, they're going to get a new mid laner, stuff like that. He continuously just performs, and what is it with this kid, man?
When you're on the ground, the only way is up, man.
Ooh.
That's true.
And I think he has that mentality, that kind of mentality. I mean, during this series, he still have 0 deaths, right?
Yep.
0 deaths, and
707.
I think maybe with the addition of Coach Adi too, right? Because he coached Skylar, you know how good Skylar is in RRQ, and then he coached CW now, and maybe he gets some of that knowledge and that skills, you know.
That's actually really cool, right? Because Skylar, if you remember the timing of when, you know, Skylar got good. Season 7, he was bashed for being bad. That was his lowest point. Season 8 and then 9, Achil joined back 8. And then he became a monster. This guy maybe makes gold lanes monsters. I don't know.
Coincidence? I think not.
Like a gold laner factory here. Just pumping them out as good as they come. 800, 700, almost 700 gold per minute there on the Roger, right? He wasn't supposed to be hardcore farming, but it made it seem like that was the case. And again, the mobility, right? We saw that Evos likes playing around with it. You can say the same thing for Fnoc. And when you give them like a fanny, right? When you can just go around and just be everywhere at once. You saw that he was out of the fight and they were going to go for a fight with a man advantage. Then Kyrie comes in and it's just the end of the story.
Honestly, it's been 2 games in a row, right? 2 games in a row, they've left CW untouched. They have absolutely made no way possible for CW to be punished. And it felt like Kyrie picked up the fanny. Like, even we were like shouting like, oh my god, it's Kyrie on the fanny. It's such a good distraction as well. What do you think about this?
I mean, they let that through. They knew that fanny was gonna happen. They picked Assassin plus the Terizla, the Nolan and the Terizla, and picked 2 and 3. That's them telling Fnoc, all right, we know the fanny's open for you. This is gonna be like our response for it. So they wanted. Well, I'm not saying that Evos wanted to lose and that's why this happened, but they wanted to play into that, and what just happened was Fnoc with a lineup that would be better for the longer team fights, because again, they have so many tools for engaging and fighting. For the side of Evos Glory, where it's, once Nolan uses that fracture, pretty much done. You're just dashing and just trying to fight. That fanny, after the cutthroat, you still have, if you still have some energy on, you can still go around and still be able to deal some damage.
Well, I can add for that, during the first 3 draft, okay, Fnoc and Evos is equal, but that Edith pick is a nail in the coffin. Because, why? Because Fnoc knows they can pick Ruby, right? They can also pick Ruby, but they know Edith is much better than Ruby in terms of matchup. And that forces Evos to pick some stopper for the fanny. Is it either Franco or Ruby? And all that hero gets somehow countered by Edith. So that Edith pick is like nail in the coffin for that game number 2.
You know what's the nail in the coffin too?
What?
Kadia.
Kadia?
Kadia.
Kadia.
Kadia is a nail in the coffin if you guys want to maximize your Discord, right? What are you doing? Join our Discord by clicking the link below or scanning the QR code over here, ladies and gentlemen.
The Samsung phone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought I lost it.
Go, dude. You just placed it there. You did it.
It wasn't there,
come on,
guys.
Bro. Come
He's
on,
lying.
Cut Eterna some slack.
It wasn't there,
It's
right?
Eterna.
Yeah, totally was
It
not
wasn't
there.
there.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Just Eterna thing.
I guess so.
Okay.
But if you guys want to, maybe I'll remind you guys too. Maybe you left your phone just next to you and you guys can scan the QR code with the camera on your beautiful S24.
I forgot.
Or you
What
could,
am I doing? I already joined. What am I doing?
you forgot your phone was
What are you
there.
doing?
You forgot that you already joined.
I mean, watching a game like that from Fnatic Fnoc, you know, people lose their minds a bit, man.
Mind-blowing.
Especially when you're watching on a mind-blowing screen.
Mind-blowing screen?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of screen is that?
Well,
Samsung TV. Having an intense gaming session but experiencing constant lag? Mobile gaming is better on TV. Win any game with the FreeSync Premium Pro and Motion Accelerator Turbo Pro from Neo QLED, making movements smoother and preventing stuttering. Experience more in gaming with the Samsung TV. Ladies and gentlemen, get your hands on it ASAP. What TV do you use?
I wish I had a living room to place my TV in. But if I had a living room, then I'd get myself a Samsung TV.
You don't even need a living room technically, right? You could put it in your bedroom.
You can put it on your bed.
You could put it on, yeah?
What's
put
a
it on your
bed?
ceiling.
What's a bed?
Wait,
I'm concerned here. Wait, yo, what's going on in the Philippines with you,
Are you
man?
okay?
Is he okay?
Why are you smiling, but why are I saying pain?
Coach, help, what?
Why do you think I paid for my own flight to go here?
Coach, you gotta help him, man. You give him some life advice, man.
Remember, when you're at the ground, the only way is up.
Beautiful.
I will remember that.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That was a golden moment. And that brings us to Evos-Gold. Get it now. Only 150 pieces are available of the limited edition Vendetta, Electo, Katana, and Mythic Warrior rings. A collaboration between Evos-Gold and Mobile Legends Bang Bang MPL ID Season 13. It's available at the venue, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to, take a look at it before you go and purchase it. Even though you will, definitely. Or you guys can also check it online at ubslifestyle.com and UBS Lifestyle e-commerce.
You know,
It's limited.
Yeah, it's limited. Only 150 pieces. And Moreno got one.
So it's 149.
He won the most improved player, and that was by Evos-Gold. And he opened it in front of me. He was flexing it out.
What's in it? What's in it? What's in it?
The katana. The katana.
Like it's a literal katana?
Yeah. No, I mean not the. It's a
big.
necklace. It's like small.
But you can still hurt someone with it, right?
Why do you want to know?
Yeah, exactly.
I was asking for a friend.
Sure.
Who's your friend? Is it Bude
What
and
are-
Monica?
What are friends?
I don't
Are the
kiss and
girls
tell.
just
Wait,
violent
that's,
here in
that's
MLBB?
not what I meant. What?
No?
What? Bude Clara Mongstar? Let's take it away. I can't tell who it is.
Kok seperti 2 season lalu ya, di mana Onyx memulai dengan cukup kuat. Namun bedanya kali ini benar-benar Evos nyaris menang terus.
Yes Bude, yang mana kita bakalan melihat apakah season 11 akan terulang kembali ataukah sebaliknya. Yang mana Evos Glory akan membalaskan dendam ketika harus menjadi runner up pada season 11.
Betul, tapi kalau ngelihat 2 game awal, kayaknya bisa game ketiga ini mungkin dikejar. Banyak sekali kemungkinan yang bisa terjadi, namun tidak menutup kemungkinan dominasi dari Onyx juga masih akan ditunjukkan di babak grand final ini.
Wow, ini bakalan sangat seru, tapi tentunya seperti biasa Monica dan juga Bude Clara mau kali ini mengajak keseruan ini bersama-sama juga dengan seluruh super fans di sini. Ada yang mau skin gratis super fans?
Semuanya mau, Bude aja mau Monik.
Monica juga mau Bude, gimana caranya?
Caranya gampang banget. Di Kidia Play kita akan memainkan, ini adalah Johnson Race terakhir karena ini adalah final day. Tentu saja lawannya adalah perwakilan dari MPL dan lawannya adalah perwakilan dari audience. Mereka akan berusaha untuk memenangkan satu match ini dengan berputar-putar 3 kali saja. Kalau dari perwakilan audiens menang, skin akan dibagikan.
Wow, dan ini akan dibagikan gratis untuk seluruh yang ada di Velodrome Jakarta. Jadi ini beban berat nih untuk audiensnya, harus menang ya.
Oh, kita udah bisa dibilang ada menang, ada kalah. Tapi kalau kali ini berbeda, kita akan mengundang satu orang yang spesial juga untuk hari ini. Perwakilan dari MPL untuk mewakili kita semua, untuk menantang audiens. Kita akan sambut bersama-sama. Inilah dia perwakilan dari MPL. The Johnson itself. Brum 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 brum. Choji. Dan dia adalah ninja yang sulap. Brem brem. Brem brem dulu nggak? Nah, mirip kan Monik? Ini jagoan kita hari ini.
Jagoan kita ya, tapi tentunya Bude, ini Choji udah siap untuk menantang. Tapi yang ditantang, ini siapa Choji audiensnya? Karena biar kayaknya ya, kan Bude Clara ngomongnya ini The Johnson itself. Berarti kayaknya hebat nih Choji pakai Johnson. Langsung aja Johnson itself langsung milih.
Boleh.
Kenapa Bude, kenapa?
Ya boleh, mungkin
Boleh
wajah
ya?
yang kamu pernah lihat pada saat nge-cast
Oke.
di MDL. Atau
Nah ini nih boleh deh, paling tinggi tangannya keluar, ayo.
Ayo. Sini. Jatuh tuh, awas.
Lentungannya.
Renungannya.
Lendungannya. Halo, siapa namanya?
Cesar
Cesar. Dari mana Cesar?
dari Cikarang.
Dari Cikarang. Tetangga.
Pas Choji nantang, langsung tuh angkat tangannya paling tinggi.
Sangat pede karena bapak saya supir.
Wow.
Genetik Bude, di DNA-nya ada.
Sudah ada deh. Kamu melawan dia, beranikah?
Berani dong Bude, kenapa nggak berani?
Kamu berani ngelawan Choji?
Berani kalau nggak berantem ya.
Enggak. Kita take yang di in-game aja.
Oke, kita akan kasih tahu ya. Rule untuk kalian dan ini adalah mapnya, rutenya, semuanya. Mari kita tampilkan bersama. Dimulai dari mid lane, itu adalah start pointnya, lalu menuju ke arah bawah, lalu naik ke arah, lalu ke base
Ke
kalian
base.
belok, dan berputar. Pokoknya total 3 lap.
Jadi 3 lap pertama langsung menang ya. Dan tentunya ini beban berat untuk audiens, ada Cesar ya. Karena kalau Cesar menang 3 lap langsung nih skin gratis untuk seluruh yang ada di Velodrome Jakarta.
Benar. Choji mewakili MPL. Semangat Choji. Coba ada yang mau nyemangatin Choji nggak? Semangatin Choji dong. Tapi kalau kalian semangatin Choji nggak dapat skin, ulang berarti. Mau yang semangatin Cesar siapa nih? Oke, kita akan menyemangati bersama dan countdown untuk dimulainya race terakhir dari Johnson Race. Kita hitung mundur dari 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start! Udah langsung ngegas aja bang.
Langsung nih.
Gas dong.
Loh, recall dari jauh apa tuh?
Recall aja, nggak apa-apa. Kita main nyantai aja. Yang penting apa? Yang penting have fun. Putar dulu sekali turtle ya kan. Iya, itu dia. Nggak apa-apa, kita relax aja.
Nabrak nggak apa-apa karena
Kalau nabrak adalah laki-laki, kita harus menabrak perempuan.
loh, itu masalahnya udah nabrak turret tadi, nabrak turret. Geng, kalau Choji biasanya bikin kecil tapi penting. KTP-nya dari Johnson apa?
KTP-nya dari Johnson simple, kalau misalkan dari base langsung ulti, putar dulu base-nya 5 detik, ntar abis itu kelihatan direct.
Oh gitu ya?
Oke.
Itu kalau buat main beneran ya? Kalau buat sekarang?
Betul, kalau buat sekarang fokus.
Fokus
aja.
Oh, dua-duanya udah satu lap nih. Ayo.
Sama-sama 1 lap ya. 2 lap lagi.
Ada apa bang?
Grogi.
Tuh, grogi loh audiensnya sama Choji.
Putar lagi.
Kamu pro player bukan?
Bukan.
Terus kamu apa?
Biar makin menarik. Set.
Saya lagi grogi.
Saya grogi.
Loh, ini Choji ada apa nih muter-muterin base?
Nungguin dia dulu. Oke, lanjut lagi.
Oh Edian.
Kayaknya
Biar nggak
Choji-
kelihatan di map ya?
Oh iya itu tuh ya.
Bener sih nggak kelihatan ya.
Tapi kan ini adu cepat Choji.
Kamu
Dinding tadi
tuh
di situ.
nggak-
Kita ada naruh dinding di situ tadi ya.
Jangan bertengkar, fokus ini demi skin untuk semua pengunjung MPL. Semangat dan
Sama-sama Bude. Ini dua-duanya udah lengkap 2 lap. Jadi ini final lap terakhir yang akan menentukan siapa yang akan menang.
Siapa nih? Ayo dong tepuk tangan buat Cesar. Cesar, ayo demi skin gratis. Dan akhirnya Cesar mendapatkan kemenangan dengan 3 lapnya. Finish! Congratulations!
Udah ini ya?
Udah sampai 100 lap. Nah,
Boleh.
jangan, kita mau grand final masalahnya. Tapi gimana? Kamu berhasil sebagai perwakilan dari audiens, kamu bisa membantu mereka mendapatkan kode untuk skin gratis. Ada yang mau kamu sampaikan untuk mungkin MPL dan juga seluruh audiens?
Saya menyampaikan salam buat Evos fans yang selalu mendukung. Kita doakan semoga Evos memberikan hasil terbaik dan nanti di Riyadh kita Indonesia bisa membawa pulang piala MSC.
Tapi enjoy the skin.
Enjoy, cuman agak getar dikit.
Oh,
Silakan semuanya bisa redeem. Keluarkan smartphone kalian, keluarkan Samsung kalian. Langsung aja kalian redeem kodenya ini. Segera semuanya bisa. Bude yakin di sini nggak ada yang dapat.
Nggak ada yang nggak kebagian ya. Jadi semua kebagian langsung aja di redeem. Tapi sembari super fans di sini nge-redeem, tadi kayaknya ada yang pas awal mulai matchnya kayaknya pede banget. Tapi ternyata
Kenapa? Gimana ya, tadi sebenarnya nggak tahu ya kenapa ya. Cuman emang tadi tiba-tiba dinding muncul. Itu pertama ya. Yang kedua tadi emang sebenarnya kan kita kan di sini kan untuk membagikan informasi ya. Membagikan informasi untuk bisa membuat Johnson tidak kelihatan di map selama 5 detik pertama setelah naik mobil ya.
Sudah.
Cuman jadinya ya gitulah.
Sudah. Anda kalah. Diterima saja. Toss aja, good game, well play.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you Chochi dan juga Cesar. Thank you.
Ih, luar biasa sekali akhirnya skin gratis dibagikan oleh seluruh super fans yang ada di Velodrome Jakarta pada hari terakhir babak playoff kali ini by Kidia Play Johnson Race.
Betul, banyak sekali hari ini kabar gembira yang ingin kita sampaikan ke kalian. Tadi udah skin gratis, sekarang ada yang juga spesial.
Betul sekali, karena siap-siap kita perlu memberikan apresiasi. Kita patut berbangga karena MPL Indonesia Season 13 telah mencapai 100 juta watch hours. Wow! Dan ini yang paling penting, ini kita udah dapetin selama 2 season berturut-turut. Ini luar biasa sekali dan tentunya ini bisa tercapai atas dukungan dari semua pihak, khususnya juga dari super fans yang ada di sini. Mana tepuk tangannya?
Dan Budi juga mau shout out semua yang lagi nobar di luar sana di MPL Festival yang keren banget, rame banget. Dan juga yang lagi pada nobar, mungkin ada di luar kota, yang jauh, bahkan di luar negeri. Semuanya nobar berkumpul bersama untuk menjadi saksi siapakah yang akan menjadi juara di season ini. Season ini kita mengadakan grand final, mengadakan playoff di Jakarta dengan sangat meriah, dengan semua dukungan, bahkan datang dari berbagai kota untuk berkumpul di ibu kota.
Betul sekali, selama berseason-season kebanyakan kita berada di ibu kota bersama-sama berkumpul. Malahan kemarin ada yang dari Palembang, ada yang dari mungkin dari jauh-jauh juga ya berkumpul di sini.
Dari Purwokerto, anak-anak,
ada yang dari Manado. Nah, tapi ada yang penting juga nih Bude untuk kita sampaikan. Kalau biasanya spesial ya, kalau biasanya kita di Jakarta.
Next season kita bakal langsung umumin, ini jarang banget terjadi. Ini spesial untuk next season. Cluenya aya naon. Season 14 playoff akan diadakan di Bandung.
Wow. Jadi langsung dicatat, disiap-siapin di season depan. Kita akan sama-sama berkumpul di Bandung untuk melihat siapakah yang akan menjadi Raja Galaksi di season 14.
Iya, ini akan menjadi kota terbaru, teranyar pula. Dan tentu saja antusiasmenya Bude yakin pasti sangat besar juga.
Betul sekali, ini juga menunjukkan bahwa memang MPL Indonesia ini bisa mencakup seluruh daerah di Indonesia, bahkan mungkin nanti seluruh internasional sampai sekarang juga yang ikut menonton melalui live streaming dan lain-lainnya.
Jadi ini akang-akang semuanya lagi yang pada lagi nobar, kasih tahu semuanya kalau Bandung akan menjadi the next destination untuk playoff season 14.
Betul sekali. Tapi Bude, itu kan playoff season 14. Kita saat ini masih berada di season 13. Belum kelar, kita belum tahu siapa yang akan menjadi Raja Galaksi pada season 13 kali ini.
Akankah Fnatic Onyx?
Ataukah Evos-Grand?
Semuanya hanya bisa dibuktikan di Land of Down. Jadi langsung saja kita lanjutkan ke game yang ketiga.
Zero, ladies and gentlemen, in the grand finals of MPL ID Season 13. Fnatic Onyx are leading and they're trying to protect their throne. And they have been doing it phenomenally against all statistics, against all data. We were talking so much about the blue side and the red side, and apparently for Fnatic Onyx, it don't matter.
Yep, just doesn't apply. Game number 1, A little bit closer, they showed them, all right, this draft is going to be a little bit better. Game number 2 was like, no, we just play better than you.
What's going on?
I mean, if you pick second pick, it's back it's a versatility. You don't need to respect Ben that much because you just need to ban Harriet and then 2 other, maybe Chip and Moskov, right, for Evos. And that's why I was telling that Onyx doesn't really have much respect Evos heroes because they pick second pick, right? And Evos themselves will not pick second pick because they are afraid of Onyx pick. They have a lot of so much respect bands, man. The Kadida, the Angela, the Luoyi, maybe even the Chip, or maybe Valentina, so much.
Stop talking about chips. Stop talking about chips because it's making me hungry, man.
Really?
Like,
did you just eat
and
earlier?
it's a best of 7 series. Yes, I did.
You want to eat again?
I think I need some snacks.
Well, you can, right? But you have to be careful not to spend too much money.
Okay,
and
how?
I think if you use the vouchers that GoPay gives you, then you can save a lot of money while also spending. Because if you scan the QR code right now, Eterna, where's your Samsung phone? Here we go.
I keep losing
Why
it.
is it
I keep
here
losing
now?
it. I don't.
Yeah.
Arashi, stop stealing it.
Oh my God, Arashi!
What's wrong with you?
Well, it's okay if Arashi steals it because you probably have made enough GoPay coins from the cashbacks to get yourself a new S24. Download the new GoPay app packed with powerful features now. You can purchase new skins and top up your diamonds using GoPay for exclusive cashbacks up to, guess what, 20,000 IDR, bro. And enjoy 100 times transfers to anywhere you want for free. Get the cheapest prices when buying phone credits and scan any Curious with GoPay app and receive instant cashback.
What do you guys want? Takoyaki, martabak? What are we feeling? Sushi?
I've had enough of martabak, you know?
Martabak, no martabak?
Yeah.
You want martabak?
Arashi has had too much martabak this season, especially. He even got 2 Filipinos who love martabak.
Yeah, it didn't
too.
help him too much in the playoffs.
Hey!
Oh,
we're going there. Why would you go there?
Oh. He's crying. Good thing we're not showing caster counts right now. There's a tear falling down Arashi's
crying, man.
face.
It's okay. It's okay. That happened like 4 days ago, man. These are manly tears.
See, Annabelle's even making fun of you right now.
Oh!
Like, oh, cry, Arashi.
Wow.
That's what they're gonna lose.
Cry, Arashi.
Oh!
Oh
my God! Beef up in here.
All right. I mean, it's been true, right? 3 of Annabelle's assassin heroes have been crushed by Kyrie so far. So what is his next hero that he needs to bring out, right? Because the Ling lost earlier on in the upper bracket finals, and then he took out the Lancelot today, and then the Nolan, and oh god.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it's one of those cases where, okay, if your best assassins are getting taken out, heroes that really are forcing you to play high mechanics, play around that, you're just gonna have to go back to, if you're comfortable with the Freds, the Bakshas, sorry, this is the Filipino in me, the Freds, the Bakshas, the Barretts in the jungle, put that in there, and then just start building something from there instead of asking your young jungler to go toe-to-toe in assassin gameplay up against Kyrie. Start with the basics first, start with the safe picks, and then rebuild his confidence up. I like this Lancelot in game number 1, very confident.
But again, you will not be happy using an assassin against Fnatic Onyx. You will not be happy for sure.
Yep.
Okay, still first pick for Evos.
I mean, like you said, right, Coach, too expensive to give away that blue side to Fnatic Onyx. Fnatic Onyx don't care about Evos' picks, it seems. And for Evos, they care too much about Fnatic Onyx pick, and they go for it. We're getting game 3, game 1 and 2 all over again. Valentina first pick. Farsa, Roger, they don't change.
Same.
I mean, for Onyx, there's no real reason to change. Just keep going at it. And it always feels like for Onyx, they have something up their sleeves. Even when their opponents do get an edge, it feels like they kind of know what to do, and it's only about a matter of time before they kind of decode that puzzle. And that's the crazy part about Fnatic Onyx. Sometimes the drafts are almost secondary compared to the actual game plan and actual execution that the coaching staff has prepared for them. Now with Evos picking up the Charisma and the carry again, are you both really thinking we want to play the same exact game but win this time?
Well, they changed their priorities. Earlier was a Terizla Nolan, now it's a Terizla carry. So if this is somehow Evos telling Fnatic Onyx, hey, bring up the assassin again, it's open for carry if you want it, but Fred's open, it's going to be a little bit safer. Then you don't have to go Assassin versus Assassin in the matchup, which Fnatic Onyx showed. They're still okay with. Weirdly enough, that might actually be in the long run a little bit better for Evos because they're not going up against the Assassins of Fnatic Onyx.
It's going to be Fredrin. And I think that's the benefit of the second pick. Again, they have so much flexibility. They know they can dictate what they want to play and also what the opponent needs to play. And for sure, Onyx will ban out Nolan and Alpha. Or maybe Nolan and Lancelot, but let's see.
Oh, so you want to leave the Alpha open?
Well, for me, I think so.
I think so, because maybe they have something up their sleeves.
Right. I mean, the fact that they went for the Fredrin and they banned with the Nolan, we were talking about this earlier, Coach Al. It seems like for Onyx, you're still willing to use that Fredrin as a bit of a bait pick and put it in the EXP lane or something. That's something that a lot of teams have already stopped doing a long time back. Do you think Onyx can still pull it off?
I think if the Assassin pick will benefit them, I think they will do it. But if they're looking for a good matchup for Lutfi or Keyboy in the XP lane. So yeah, let's see. Maybe for I think they're gonna pick another flex pick for either Keyboy or Lutfi or even either both the XP or the roamer.
Yeah. I'm thinking now, it's like Evos for 3 straight games, they've been going to the second phase, taking out picks so that Fluffy has a little bit more comfortable matchup. And then they keep dumping the Terizla on him. I mean, Terizla's a great lane holder. Yeah, if you can snowball, it's great. But I imagined, I thought Evos would want to go for the Yuzongs of the world, even the first phase X-Borgs, that kind of heroes. So, oh man.
Well, we're all, thinking right now, but Colis is also thinking about something. Discipline is the key for Evos to win. Have they been lacking discipline, Reptar, in game number 1 and game number 2? Is that the problem?
To go a little bit with my point now, Evos, you're seeing them trying to be disciplined. Game number 1, discipline. Game 2, Fnatic Onyx just played better. I don't like how they're being too disciplined. I made the point earlier about how Lutfi needs a little bit more of that egotistical playstyle. While we're not seeing a lot of ego from Fluffy. Fluffy's playing a little bit more utility type of an EXP laner. But now here's ego from Evos. They pick up the lane.
I think why Fluffy gets the Terizla because they want to enable Anafel so that he can pick the damage jungler, maybe the Alpha or maybe the Ling or the Assassins. But I think I like a Paquito pick for this, for Mr. Lutfi himself, for the last pick for Onyx. Because, yeah, it has a good matchup against Ling in the early phase to the mid game, but let's see where it's going.
Let's see, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, okay!
It's not the Paquito.
Oh, man.
But it's the Masha!
Something new, something new.
Oh, no!
Yikes.
This is Masha EXP, right? It's
EXP.
not on Keyboy.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because they already have a very strong trio mid, right? Fredrin, Arlott, Farsha. Maybe they think that they need more damage for the late game. They also have Roger for the early game to the mid game, and they need something to match up with the Ling for the late game. And Masha is a very, very good pick if she can survive the early game.
Oh man, especially with the carry, with the Valentina, vulnerable members around, and even the Ling. If we thought that the Ling was going to be just unmatched in a 1v1, now with the Masha in the picture, that's absolutely not the case. So Evos, there's going to be a lot of urgency for them right here to try and shut down at least one of the laners of Onyx in order to actually have some kind of chance in the mid game, because otherwise Onyx is going to take this game and run with it.
We're heading to championship point, ladies and gentlemen. We are 1 game away if Fnatic Onyx can continue this win streak. Welcome to game number 3 of the grand finals between Evos-Glory and Fnatic Onyx as we jump into the land of Dawn.
This was a signature pick back for Onyx, by the way. Back in Aldo days, back in the Boots days, if you know, you know. Boots was always given the Masha, and he was always able to perform on the Masha. And now the new gen, Lutfi, will try to do the same.
A very poetic situation indeed. Taking a look at the emblems though, Grand's with the quantum charge. It's going to be jumped on by Keyboy here. You can bet he's going to have some kind of defensive emblem setups, because otherwise that's a bold move to be doing, especially with how CW have been performing. But if you take a look at the emblems, it's Master Assassin from Brand. No tenacity. So he's going to sacrifice some of that tankiness, some of that safety to try and get a bit more to say in the laning phase.
Look at the rest of the Embers by Games Max, CW with the throw as well, trying to match him there. Keyboy trying to be as aggressive as possible, and Ludpi talking about that late game, going for the weapon mastery. He is going to be an absolute menace the longer this game goes. And even with 1 or 2 items, we've seen Masha just completely take over, especially when they're damaging the squishier heroes. Now with the weapon mastery, it might be even more possible, but maybe the early game is where Evos really want to bank on this.
That's what we're expecting, right? That's what we're expecting in the later stage of the game with, of course, the options of emblems that Ludpi has utilized. But Reptar made it clear for us earlier on that this is Ludpi's debut pick on the Masha. He hasn't used it so far, not in the regular season, not in the playoffs. So it's another hidden strat, but we'll see how he performs on it.
Good poke. But my question is, why Masters... Oh, wait a minute, Dreams gets poked as well and is forced back. Right as the turtle spawns, Kairi already invading. Arashi, most Mashas, all Mashas so far have gone Master Assassin. This is the first weapon mastery Masha.
Might be just a difference in ideas, right? Maybe he's trying to play for weak side. He knows there won't be a lot of brawling in his lane when Fnatic goes for that gold lane. So if he goes for passive stats, yes, he can maybe be able to pull off some kind of outplay, some kind of 1v1. But again, that's Charizla. The chances are it's going to be a bit less. Clocking right now gets jumped on the Keyboy.
Very, very low. Forced to flicker out. Better than airstrike coming down. First blood by Annabelle. And now Appraiser spread Annabelle. Still able to steal it as well. Kairi gonna miss out on that retreat battle. And he gets chain CC. That penalty zone was perfect from Fluffy.
A perfect poster as well to set up this game. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ling coming up as one of Annabelle's secret hidden weapons. It was taken out by Fnatic Onyx in the final upper brackets, but here he shines. 1-0-1 so far, gonna be able to pick up that neutral objective as well. The rising star from Evo's Glory.
We're seeing a huge swing here in the meta where Assassins now can really try and match some of these fighters in the first turtle. For the longest time, it's always about letting go for the first few objectives and then going for the next objectives when you have some more items, when you have some more combos available. But I guess for Evos, like we said in game number 2, with the penalty zone, with the Minion and Fury, there's always a chance for Annabelle to just come in right here. And in contrast to the previous game, he has an invulnerability window here with the Tempest of Blades. So that in combination with the Minion and Fury can almost guarantee a mutual objective take.
So are we saying this is the calm before the storm? Are we expecting a better mid-game composition from Fnatic Onyx?
I believe in the mid-game, they're definitely going to turn up the aggression. And we saw earlier, they know how to deal with big teamfight combo compositions. Especially with the Masha later on, they have an option here to go full on split push. And even if you take out a Masha with 2 or 3 members, from the patterns, from the way we've seen things, that Masha can absolutely trade 1-for-1 at least.
Final splash though, bringing Dreams back. For the airstrike right on him, forcing him to flicker out to safety. What a roam by Sans, and CW still zoning brands.
Meanwhile, we saw earlier on that Annabelle first item, the Haas Claws. What's the game plan?
You've seen the Lings go with the Haas Claws, with the Berserker's Fury. A little burst damage, a lot of crit, but also a lot of sustainability in the middle of a fight. So it's a double benefit type of itemization. So right now, especially in the early game, that still is going to be a big factor. It's going to allow him to actually heal up in the jungle as well, in between big engagements. The longer the game goes though, he might be bursted down faster than he can actually heal up.
Now Kairi sets up for the turtle, starts it, resets it quick. Both teams very hesitant to go for the turtle, and this actually is an advantage to Evo's Glory. Ling, Annabelle constantly utilizing this time to rotate and go for that level lead. 2 levels ahead now, jumping on the Keyboy with a pinch poise. And Keyboy might just be slain, goes for the final slash, not able to connect with the Thunderclap by Ludpi! Block will be taken out, Annabelle unable to chase Keyboy down. Wow! Fnatic Onyx prevail in a chaotic duel. For the airstrike once again going to be used up as a Temple of Blades. By Annabelle won't really be able to threaten anyone. FNOC just keep on going straight! What is the threat of Evo's Glory? Evos threw everything at them and they just took it.
What? Annabelle was 2 levels ahead.
It doesn't even matter, man. They just stand there, unfazed. Fnatic Onyx, it's almost like with all these adversities posed towards them, they just can't relate. They pull away Annabelle, distracting him. They get a pick off using Ludpi, and then in the midst of all the chaos, they still had their eyes on the turtle.
multi-layered strategies as always from Fnatic Onyx, and Evos are just bewildered.
And we talked about it earlier on, right? The fact that Lutpi is on his debut pick, Masha, and that is what he does on it, 2-0-0. The fact that he was able to get that damage over just really helped Fnatic Onyx secure that second turtle, sorry. Game fact by Gope, Roger became the most picked hero in the gold lane throughout MPL ID's Season 13 playoffs with 20 picks and 0 bans. So far, CW has picked it up once again, and nobody has been able to punish him for it. Still at 0-0. Will this be the same story that we saw in the last game?
I mean, in general, it's hard to punish a Roger, but Annabelle now under the turret. Happy feed, sliding away from the danger of Sans. Whoa!
He's going for the chase? What? On the wings by Wings, gets caught by Fluffy on those hammers, but he has Bloodwing, so he's just gonna try to sidestep, and he just walks out of that initiation. Final slash, we can Dreams back onto Kyrie. Continues this. He wanted to go for the invade, but now he decides, nah, never mind. We'll just retreat.
Look at the itemization. Kyrie went straight for the blade armor, so already initially they understand that this composition from Evos rely heavily on that backline, on Brands, as always with Evos. So now with the Masha able to just threaten the Ling away potentially, all Kyrie really has to worry about is that DPS coming in from the carry. So it's almost like what Annabelle was doing in the previous game. It's itemizing for all the physical defense, and he can really neglect to itemize for magical defense.
On the final smash into Minutes Fury, penalty zone to the back line, able to find Sans, but he flickers out to safety with a raise, a Praetor's Wrap. Kyrie with a Red Sheep battle now, and he finds it, able to dash out to safety, finds the airstrike stolen away. Fluffy gets that last shot to take him down, but Keyboy continues this chase with the vengeance. Top of the blades to the back line, CW still trying to survive, like and pounce to dodge away from the Divine Blades. My goodness, Annabelle continues, this Sans gets the Bloodwings back up, gets a stun as well, but CW is unable to tap on that Lycan pounce fast enough. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Lutpi almost taking Brands out.
So that's a neutral objective trade over Kyrie as well as Keyboy, and Evos are able to pick a turret in the top lane. It looks like Brands is eyeing for this mid lane turret, but CW and Kyrie is there.
It's a bit of a trade-off, but for Fnatic Onyx, it definitely isn't ideal, but it's better than nothing. Looking at the gold advantage, actually Evos has the advantage ever so slightly. Everyone else but the EXP lane. That's where Lutpi has been an absolute menace. And if you look at how he's been playing, even with the Hefty Seeds, you're seeing that he's really less willing to go all in, all crazy, the same way Luke, the guy who made this Masha famous, was known to be doing, right? Earlier, just going in against Brands, there's a chance he could have traded 1-for-1, but he's happy to just burn a battle spell and threaten Brand away and just walk away as well. So it's a more calculated, a more precise approach from Lutpi here that's just less reckless.
He has the BOD now, by the way, and he was able to push in that turret in the bottom lane. So he's busy, he's doing work. Annabelle gonna try and clear up and focus on the housekeeping as Kyrie looks in to steal this away. Fluffy's there though.
Yep, the hammer. Oh, Kyrie takes away the orange buff, and Lutpi will be able to get away, only losing 1 HP bar. Dreams and Clockwork in the mid lane, handling that siege very, very well.
That's a great combo. Send your crazy burst damage split pusher along with the jungle to make sure that you can get a chance to just threaten for a jungle kill or get his buff away. That is gonna be one way for Fnatic Onyx to really get a level advantage, but he is still Kyrie, 1 level below Annabelle. He's been able to farm really, really well. With Evo setting up right here, you can see CW actually being on the scout, but Lutpi! Ooh, wait. Annabelle.
Keyboy?
Just trying to chase him down, man, trying to stun him. Get him off that wall! But Annabelle, too slippery. Whoa, Brands! Able to find that ambush on CW, forcing him to recall.
Ooh, is this a setup that Evo's Glory are looking for? It still looks like Annabelle wants to focus on his purple buff before he begins on the next neutral objective take, but every time we go for a neutral objective setup, I always mention levels because I want to see who has the better advantage, but so far, despite
penalty zone on a 2, final slash connecting on the Brands, he goes for the vengeance and flickers back out to safety for the airstrike as the Minion's Fury knocks up Kyrie. Gets the Appraiser's Wrap, but Annabelle, knocked up from the wall now. It's a thunderclap. Keyboy gonna be slain by Annabelle. Gets out, good angle to escape TW. Like in form! Lutpi with a thunderclap again finds another. Lutpi and CW comes up when Keyboy and Kyrie get shut down.
2-4-3 trade in favor of the defending champions as they push in that mid turret. It was rightfully theirs earlier on, and they finally get to push it. They deal some damage in that top lane, but what happened?
It's the insane shot calling from Fnatic Onyx. It seemed they were lost, that they lost several members and they're going to be forced to take that defeat. But instead of focusing on where the action was, they turned their eyes immediately to Brands, who's on a low range, slow escape hero, and they run him down immediately, especially with Ludwig's damage available to them, now with the Malefic Roar as well. How are they making these calls, man? The fact that the fights are so chaotic, and yet they seem to always be able to find the right call to turn everything around.
They're so kept together, they're so synergized, they're so... I don't even know what the word is. They're just... They have the chemistry.
They're just better.
The hive mind.
They're good at Mobile Legends.
They're good at Mobile Legends, as Coach Aldo put it earlier on. But again, Annabelle at level 15. Kairi is 2 levels below. You'd think that they'd have the advantage here. But again, they have tunnel vision. They haven't been able to fight CW.
Isolation on Fluffy with the final stack, but Fluffy gets the penalty zone. A good one. Ludwig in back as well. Looking for the flag. Jumps into the thunderclap. And the feather airstrike connects on the clock. And look at Ludwig! Again with the chase. The thunderclap there. Ludwig finds a double. The thunderclap. The thunderstruck.
Wipe out.
Fnatic Onyx continuing this onslaught, and Annabelle can only just run away. But CW wants to chase just for a bit, goes back towards the Enhanced Lord.
And that trade is so worth it, right? Ludwig trading his life over for bronze is already great, but he goes in for 2 more members.
Boy, might be a bit too much, and you could choose Sans versus the Assassin. He buys the winner truncheon, the feather airstrike gets popped in, and Annabelle will be able to pinch poise out. Fnatic Onyx take the Enhanced Lord.
And they will be able to save the turret on the bottom side there. So, trading a roamer's life for the turret, I think it's still absolutely within their calculations. With the Lord coming through right here, I have to say how Fnatic Onyx want to play this. They are known to try and do multiple different approaches. They've gone for a 3-wave collision to just crack open the base. They are known to try and go for a big play, a pickup play, and get one base turret and distract, almost using the Lord as a split push. That's the confusion that Evos have to try and solve right now.
Sorry, CW BOD.
That's a Chad move right there, CW.
What?
You don't know, fun fact, last time he went for the BOD on the Roger, he was up against Luke on the Masha. So now that there's no Masha on the enemy team, he can do it. He lost that game, by the way, when he went BOD.
Yep, that's a big thing we were talking about, the itemization choice, BOD instead of the Malefic Roar. But in this situation, especially with how Onyx have been playing, ignoring the front line, destroying the back line completely, that BOD is going to allow them to do that so much better. But for now, Evos have defended, losing all the turrets outside of their base. That will mean that Fnatic Onyx can just camp out in the jungle of Evos, and they're going to be starved for resources. They're going to start getting strangled.
Asphyxiated, right? Just drowning at the moment. It's looking extremely bleak for the People's Champions here in the 14th minute of the game. And it looks like, Keyboy.
Final smash in the taunt to cancel the penalty zone, and Fluffy's forced back. Fnatic Onyx saw Ludwig earlier, man. Annabelle was so close to him, but he was outside of that vision. And now Fnatic Onyx are just controlling the enemy jungle.
Arashi, what's the win con here for Evos? How do they come back?
They're going to go for a proper fight. They have to make sure that they're all close enough together and they can protect Brands. If Brands can output that damage, that's one of their big win conditions, and now they're going forward, so.
But it only just tickles Kairi. CW just gets out by jumping with ult, and now big damage from CW. You can see that bod, that BOD.
CW with the massive bod there. Now with the rose gold as well. Like we were saying, when they're moving forward like this, they don't really have the same kind of chase, especially against a Fredrin, a Masha, a Roger. There's not a lot of heroes that can be picked up aside from maybe Sans on that Farsa. So for now, for Evos, either they get a pick off onto Sans, or they just wait and ensure that make sure that Brands can just output the damage, keep hitting. Because otherwise, it really seems like for now, Evos is just lacking damage. Even when Clockun is able to just sit there and output that damage, spam out those spells. Kairi with Athena's
it's going to be a bit too tanky, especially with the extra bits of sustain.
So pickoffs is the way to go now for Evo's Glory.
Pick off your sands or just protect brands.
Okay.
That rhymes, bars.
Nice.
Brands,
Rap
Sands,
God.
they gotta dance now with Lord, you know.
Gotta use fast hands.
Look at the arena, there are a lot of fans.
This game is 10 out of 10.
I'm a
Okay.
man. I'm a man. No,
No,
sorry.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
I'll
whoa,
just,
whoa,
I'll
whoa,
just
whoa,
not
whoa.
join, okay?
What the heck was that?
I'm sorry.
Participation trophy.
FOMO, bro.
Oh, Kyrie seems he wants to join in this skirmish as well. Fluffy will be forced back. CW is doing some damage. Final slash. Displacing an Appraiser's Wrath as well. CW now on the Lycan form, and Keyboy is still just hovering over. Meanwhile, Lutpi, look at the flanks here. The Feather Airstrike zones them all away from this Lord.
Fluffy still has Flicker though, and Fluffy is still looking for an angle. There is still time for them to look for a counter engage.
You're waiting for an opportunity right here, but the way Lutfi is playing this Masha is absolutely annoying. Look at him, Evos. Oof, just moving back and forth, waiting for a chance to go for a 50-50, but On will give it to him. Lutfi once again just zoning Annabelle away.